And we're live. We'll open up this with a little prologue. Late 90s, Middle America. The summer was off to a slow start for the young man. There was the requisite job waiting tables. There was the weekend. It was usually filled with trying to find beer somewhere and girls somewhere else. Though now, he'd gone to visit his grandfather. Driving down the country road, he wondered, just how much is that old man telling me? He grinned and continued thinking to himself, probably not half of it. He listens to the radio as he drives. Turns it up as he rounds a bend. Overhead, the sun is shining, filtered green down through the new summer leaves. Turning into his grandfather's driveway, the young man got out of his car and closes the door. The music stops, and he looks outside. He has a really nice setup here, the young man thought, walking up to the house. He went up a few steps and knocked on the door politely before entering. He went into the kitchen. Nobody was there. Hey, Pops! Pops, he called out. Then he went to the living room, still no one. Then the young man went out back, where a gentle path wound down to a small river near the house. Hey, Pops. Nice day, huh? Hey there, he answered. Sure is. The old man looks up, deep in thought, listening to the sounds of the woods. Is his Alzheimer's getting worse? The young man thought to himself before answering. Yeah, it's June 6th, Pops. Then it dawned on him. Pop smiled. Sit down, Ace. It's time I told you the truth. Now go to the fridge, grab 2 beers. We're going to be here a while.
Fucking the dudiest episode of fucking Blades and Blasters. Here we come.
Yeah!
Copyright. Copyright.
Copyright. So we'll get going here. Hey, Jason, just feel free to pitch in an RP however you want, like as this
Random soldier number 1.
Yep.
yeah continues on until we meet.
I'm wearing a red shirt, I assume.
Messenger of fear inside. I also have a few house rules. I won't go over them now, but if they come up, we'll kind of go over it just to streamline things a little bit with this system, if that's cool with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Coolio.
All right, let's move on.
I imagine they're similar to your GM boast things from.
No, I mean just some mechanical tweaks that I made. Just like movement speeds and stuff like that. We'll go over it. It's all good.
Tomato gravy. Oh yeah.
Got a doll baby, I love her so. Nothing else like her anywhere you go. A man, she's anything but calm. A regular pint size atom bomb. Atom bomb, baby, atom bomb.
Jesus, Rob. You're getting really prepared for this one.
You find yourselves all packed with over 70 pounds of gears. It's a heavy load. It feels even heavier knowing what's about to happen. You're flying into death small. You're flying into the unknown. Another man from Venom Company, Private Jack Landing, has a small radio and it's playing music. He tries to make light of the situation and cracks a few jokes. He takes his helmet off and puts it over his crotch. Hey guys, Sally at home will be real upset if some crowd blew my balls off. He smirks. Cut the chatter, Landing, says Lieutenant Sutton, and get your helmet where it needs to be. Your dick's too small a target. You don't need to worry. The men laugh, and then the music cuts off. You can hear anti-aircraft fire in the distance. Looking up, your indicator is still red. Soon you start to feel your aircraft buckle and weave. It loses and gains altitude. It starts to get hit by pieces of shrapnel, and the sound is like a hailstorm hitting a tin roof. Ah! You hear a scream and blood splatters your face as one of the men in your platoon is hit with shrapnel, losing a leg. All right, so if everybody looks at their handouts, you can see Alpha Platoon Venom Company there.
Mm-hmm.
I want a voluntary person to roll a D9.
On it.
Just roll a D9.
We need Ensign Ricky.
Room 6. Tim Conahee. So that's the dude that got hit. Some guy from like West Virginia, thick neck, big dude, huge arms, and he's right in front of the NPC that Tet's playing, and Tet is just showered with brains and everything else.
Leg giblets.
Just giblets dripping off of him.
So, let's see. So I'll play Jack Landing. So
Okay.
Jack turns around and he like covers his face and he's confused of what happened, and he looks towards Tim and he's like, "Oh shit, they got Tim!" And he drops down and kind of gets shaken by the plane and kind of like falls over and just trying to like right himself. While he was trying to attend to the fallen man.
In the meantime, Conahee's just like at your feet, and just his blood is starting just to come out and pooling at your feet.
And so Jack gets to his knees slowly, and he like looks left and right for some way to potentially staunch the wounds, but he's not able to in time, and the man expires in front of him.
So this would be a good time for the rest of you guys to kind of give you a reaction and maybe a brief introduction to your character.
So I guess I'll start it off. What happens is when Jack Landing, Private Jack Landing, freaks out and falls down and whatnot. I was actually standing in front of Tim Conahee, and I am like the platoons, if you will. The platoon's a medic, and my soldier's name is Brian Anthony Glass, and he is we were all trained in Fort Benning, Georgia, right? But Brian's from the South originally, and he's quite tall and quite lanky. His head easily bumps into like the guardrails at top, but he had momentarily disconnected his rail guard from up above him to kind of like provide immediate care to this guy. And having it all packed away, there wasn't much he could do. But he took the guy's basically magazine bandolier and like took it off of his shoulder and like tried to fasten it to his leg, but by the time he got it gripped on and by the time Jack stood back up, I'm like covered in blood, and it doesn't seem to really faze Brian all that much, which is probably like a little bit unnerving, but the rest of the guys would probably know, since we all went to basic together, that I was an individual who was eventually going to be a doctor in a hospital of somewhere, he, like, Brian just kind of like just stands up as this guy is about to die, and he just looks at him for a minute and just rehooks his line as Jack turns around.
And Jack looks at you and he's like, he's dead, and he kind of seems a little perplexed and shocked.
Yeah. I mean, Brian just kind of just says, "Yeah, we're all gonna be dead if we don't get out of this plane soon." And he like looks up to the lieutenant. And he says, "How much longer is that light gonna stay red, Lieutenant?"
And Lieutenant Sutton says, kind of looks at the light, and kind of looks back at Brian, and Brian might get the sense that he's not telling him everything, but he'll say, "It's going to stay red until it's not. And at that time, we're going to do what we trained to do." And then at this point, the plane drops in altitude, and you hear just a big another big explosion happen, and as you guys take a bunch of flak to the belly of your plane, and I want each of you guys to do a luck roll. Now,
So luck would have been your stat. It would have been denotated in your character sheet. There isn't a place for it here, but it should have been here.
It's not going to be on your roll 20 sheet.
You just want us to roll a D100 then?
No, there's a luck stack. Let me just look up real quickly how to calculate it. There wasn't a place on it. If you still have that file on your computer from your CareGen, it's listed on there.
Yeah, it's listed on there. I got an 18.
Shit. Yeah, there it is. Luck is 80.
So you pass, right? Ryan, probably.
Yeah, I mean, 65 is my target number, and anything below is success. So.
Oh shit.
What was your luck?
Oh wait, no, I succeeded.
Yep.
My luck is an 80, so.
All right, good.
I have no idea what my luck is, but I'll just roll. You can tell me if I pass. 9, I probably passed, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly in the 40s or 50s, if not higher, right?
Yeah. What was yours, Rob?
Yeah, I'm still trying to find the file.
If you open up the creator, you can just load from previous data if you've saved it anywhere.
I should probably tell you guys to put that in your sheet as just a custom thing.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
Oui, baguette.
So while Rob's looking this up, so what happens as your plane takes this kind of glancing blow is the kind of the ventral aspect of your plane is kind of torn open. All these little pieces of shrapnel enter the cabin, but amazingly, like half of these things just fly by your head, bing, 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 kind of bounce around the cabin, and every one of you, including all of your company, just kind of like, look down at their body, feeling underneath their gear for like something sticky, and they're like, anybody hit, yells Sutton.
Yeah, I mean, Brian just kind of just says, I'm good. And, waits for the round off of everybody.
So everybody's kind of sounding off down the line until it gets to Kelly.
Yeah, I don't know if I saved the damn file or not, guys.
It's whatever.
I'll just say you're fine.
It's not that big of a deal.
Nobody else got hit, so Kelly kind of sounds off, and how does he react to this shrapnel? Like it glances past the left side of his head and buries itself into like some equipment kind of at the top of the cabin.
Tim's body just gets peppered with fucking shrapnel. He gets hit a couple more times.
He protects people from. He absorbs a lot of it.
Oh my god. You know how fucking morbid that would be if he's just getting shot up and exploding like fucking popcorn all over everybody?
Technical Sergeant Kelly is from Wichita Falls, Texas. Ching background. Pretty soft-spoken guy. And as the shrapnel goes pinging past him, you just hear him yell, "Shit!" looks around, making sure that everybody's okay. Looks to Sutton. LT, we gotta get out of this plane.
Half of the fucking fuselage is missing. He's like, no, we can't jump. What the fuck do you mean we can't jump?
Yeah, Sutton's known to joke with the men every once in a while. He says something about, sure, I'll call the flight attendant right over. We'll make a landing.
Morrison kind of grabs Brown by kind of his uniform. He's like, "Now listen here, Snack Shack. I swear to God, if you get hit, I'm gonna carry your corpse down there, and you're gonna carry my gear, because there's no way in hell I'm gonna be carrying this goddamn gun all the way up to fucking Germany without it." Because Conahee was supposed to be his other gunner. Because it's usually a 3-man team.
Yeah. Who'd you do that to?
Bill Brown, the pot-belly guy from Georgia.
Brown kind of turns around and he's like, you and me till the end. And then at this point, you are pretty much flying right over the beach. You're in the thickest of the anti-aircraft fire. Let's see here. And then while some of the men are wounded, like the dead fellow on the cabin floor, most seem to be okay. And in fact, after several minutes, as the aircraft traverses the beachhead and the light still doesn't turn green, makes its way inland, the assault seems to slacken. So I'm going to speak into your mouth there, Tech. Well, landing says my balls made it through intact. That green light will be coming up any second now.
I think Brian just like jumps upwards and has his pack just slam into Jack's face. Just to shut him up.
Jack kind of like shakes his head and he's like, fuck, my face is my best assets. And he's like, you can't brutalize this face.
Brian just like looks over his shoulder and he's like, head and a half taller than Jack. He's like, oh, sorry, it was the plane.
So Lieutenant Sutton steps forward at this point and it says, no, that light's not going to turn green. Not just yet. Something special is being planned for the squad. I'm sorry, but myself and command felt it best to keep you in the dark. And the plane just kind of continues on, and you actually hear a lot of the anti-aircraft fire get fainter and fainter, although obviously there's still a lot of chaos around you. But you guys are basically being told that your plans are scrapped and you're going to have to improvise and rely on what Lieutenant Sutton's going to tell you.
Well, now would be a good time to enlighten us, LT.
We're under the impression that this is the invasion of Normandy, correct?
Well, it is.
Right.
It's the morning of D-Day. Like
It's the morning.
It's the morning of D-Day. I'm just saying that out loud for those who are watching, as well as my own sanity.
Yeah, so I believe if you watch Band of Brothers, how it started is they bunch of glider troopers and paratroopers kind of dropped in behind enemy lines, trying to make some shit happen before the main assault. That's fine.
Yeah, I think after Kelly, Technical Sergeant Kelly says that Brian will speak up, being a specialist and a airborne medic, he kind of pipes up and he's like, it'd have been fucking nice if you would have told us beforehand.
And Sutton kind of go ahead.
Morrison's like, he seems to be the only one who cares. He's like, it just means that it's less of a place I have to carry it for. This giant hunk of metal, and he just kind of leans back like this is a luxurious ride.
While standing upright with like 200 pounds of weight on you. Just.
Yeah, Sutton, he's been through training with you guys, and you probably respect him as a leader, and you kind of look at his face and you kind of realize that he wanted to tell you, but he says something about how he was under strict orders and this is a confidential mission. And he says, you wouldn't be here with me if I didn't believe we can make this happen. Now just give me, 30 seconds and I'll try to give you the lowdown on what's going on. So kind of in summary, he tells you about rumors of unnatural happenings behind enemy lines, and Commander really didn't want to let the run-of-the-mill troops know about it just because it sounds kind of shady and far-fetched and a little bit paranoid. He tells you that they had an agent already operating in France before the invasion. He says this man is very capable and he has a certain set of, shall we say, skills that have been proven invaluable in the past. He's extremely knowledgeable in the occult and, quote, alternative histories, end quote.
Like,
It says,
does he just straight up say the occult?
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
There's just a moment where like O'Brien's just kind of like looks at the sergeant and like looks at everybody else and like he like maybe looks around or looks at the LT and like looks around him, see if he's bleeding from anywhere, and like he like flicks on his like flashlight and like inspects him because maybe he's like the front guy, right? Because he needs to be with the LT just in case he goes down or something.
Mhm.
And he like he's like flicks on his like chest light and he's like looking at him like see if he's bloodied anywhere around his head. LT, what in the fuck are you talking about?
He kind of looks over at Brian and then kind of looks out the window and sees back towards the beach where all these planes are being shot down. And he's like, I only half believe it myself, but I've had some meetings with top men. And he pauses and says, top men. And they think this is very important. So he goes on and says, we've lost contact with that guy behind enemy lines. Last we heard, he was looking to some sort of research facility that they're now evacuating, and that facility was targeted by bombing. So we need to figure out if he's still alive and what he's found out. And it's likely that there's going to be a lot of enemy activity around that bomb facility. So expect resistance. But he's like, I didn't have to tell you guys that.
How far are we going from the intended target? How far inland are we going? We don't even have a map of this location, and you expect us to jump?
And so, right as Brian Glass says that, the indicator turns green.
Oh boy, first one out.
Morrison kind of looks over to Kelly and is like, ugh, why do we have to go and save the fucking frogs?
Kelly just laughs, stands up, hooks up, gives a thumbs up, and starts heading for the door.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's not too far behind him. Or even probably Brian's one of the first ones.
Jack steps over the
Oh,
corpse.
Morrison's definitely kind of lagging behind.
Jack steps over the corpse and he gulps and gets ready to jump out.
So eventually the light does turn green, and you don't know whether it signifies the beginning of something or the end. The very end. And as each trooper steps towards the open door on the aircraft, you can feel the freezing air whipping about, drowning out voices and the sound of pounding hearts. But the fear remains. Go, 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 yells Sutton, ushering his boys over the precipice. So RP, kind of how you feel as you're jumping out of this plane. There might be still some gunfire around you, but not a lot of it. You can see from this map, this is kind of where you're headed. And it's behind, the vast majority of the troops, but it's not so far behind that you're going to be totally cut off. So you're still going to be you could probably hear battle going on, but you're going to be safely away from much of the chaos and that sort of thing that was going on during D-Day.
Even though it's not appropriate for the timeline, I think that it needs to have queued up Sound of Silence.
And, I think Brian, as being one of the first to jump out, he just hooks up and just gets ready, and the LT passes him on the shoulder, and he just jumps out. There isn't like a second thought, but on his way down, he's like, "Oh shit!" And maybe like random flak rounds are like peppering all around him, and we get like a scene where he's like free falling before his chute pulls, and he's just like, "Oh shit," as any man rightly would with a parachute.
And over the top goes Jack Landing with his helmet over his dick.
Yeah, Jack jumps out, and he does take off his helmet and puts it over his dick as he jumps out. And he's falling, and he starts saying the Lord's Prayer as he's falling, as being a Catholic boy that he is.
Oh God. He has to live through all of it. That's who we have at the end, is Jack Landing. That's the old man.
That's the old man sitting his grandkid for beers in the fridge.
None of us survive, but Jack Landing survives.
With a name like that.
Sergeant Kelly and Morrison.
Oh, Morrison's definitely the last one to get out, and even then, he kind of just like looks mournfully over, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna get there before the rest of them. I'm gonna sink down so fast." And sure enough, he definitely is, dropping a lot faster than he intended because he's got a giant 30 cal strapped to his back.
That's not how gravity
That
works.
is not how gravity.
No,
Physics, Sponge, physics.
I know.
He's a science denier. Science denier.
The Earth is flat, guys.
Flat earther.
It is fun.
And Sergeant Kelly.
Oh my God.
Kelly is something of a thrill seeker. That's how he ended up airborne. And so he goes out the door with a little bit of a grin. Knows he should be scared because he doesn't know what he's jumping into. Nevertheless, he loves it.
And so I don't know if the lieutenant would go first or towards the
He'd
end of
probably
those
go
guys.
last. He's got to see all his men go out.
So yeah, after everybody else goes out, Sutton kind of pauses at the precipice, makes a sign on the cross on his chest, and steps out into the abyss. So
And the aircraft blows up.
actually, you're right. So it's June 6th, 1944, 00:33 in the morning.
Oh God, we're real early.
Down, down, down. The ground is black and obscure as you fall. Barely visible, you're falling into the maw of darkness. You have a vague sense of your LZ, but it's hazy. You trust the luck mostly and the wind. At least the shrapnel and anti-aircraft fire has died down. Overhead, as you descend, you hear a thunderous roar and explosion. Looking towards the night sky, you can see your aircraft is taking a direct hit. Yeah, it shambles to port, dropping altitude faster than you as you deploy your chute. You can hear it crash into the countryside, and you can see the fireball from hundreds and hundreds of yards away, maybe miles away. Eventually, the gray ground rises to meet you. So at this point, I want everyone to make a parachute check.
Parachute.
Parachute.
That's not going to be very good for me, because I don't have that skill.
Shit. Oh well.
Oh. Let's see. Okay.
What's it derived from? And I'll just make a...
You don't have it?
Well, no, because the Dio doesn't have it. He's not a paratrooper, right?
Oh yeah, just roll like what do you think? 60?
Just roll a D5 and
yeah.
or a D100.
I'll tell you if it's good or bad.
I mean, 50 is quite fucking high.
Actually, don't roll one. We're just gonna say you're fine.
Okay.
You're like the guy that just runs around aimlessly in the battlefield, just never seems to be shot. He's worried about his dong. Kelly.
Sorry for some reason you knocked me out of the game.
Yeah, so Chris, I want you to roll your parachute skill. Okay. So,
Oh, great.
yeah. So Sergeant Kelly actually follows, Sutton and lands fairly close to the target where Sutton's going to be. Although you guys were kind of aimless to begin with, but he's able to land in the relative area that he's supposed to. However, um, Specialist Brian Anthony Glass is the first of two that do not. So, what I want you to do is roll a d4 for me.
Ooh.
Okay. So you land several hundred yards away from your LZ. You're kind of like this region there, something like that.
Do I get stuck in a fucking tree?
No, you sprained your ankle. Take 1 damage, and you're going to need somebody to patch you up before you're able to like sprint quickly.
Oh, dude, I could do that myself.
Nice. So how are you going to RP it? You kind of come down hard, far away from the LZ.
So the reason why I come down hard is that my chute actually fails to open properly. And so it's like working on 3/4 of a chute, and I spiral down. So like instead of falling straight down, I'm sure Rob knows what I'm talking about.
Oh God.
A streamer.
Like the streamer effect, yeah, where it's like you're spinning around and around. And
Must be awful.
Yeah, just imagine like instead of falling straight down, you fall down in like a pattern, and it accelerates you. I think, I don't know. I've never been a paratrooper, but anyway, on my spiral down, I'm like trying to unhook myself from that basically and unravel my chute, and I don't notice this this like low-lying farm building basically, and I hit the top of it and like go over the side and land on my foot. And I wasn't going that fast, right? But Brian flips over the top of it and lands hard against the ground, and his leg bag and his stuff gets caught on the edge of the building, and he goes flying over the top and lands hard on his feet into like a road ditch. And he just kind of says like "fuck" really loudly as he like feels his leg, and he is going to, and I would be one of the first people on the ground, actually, depending upon however it is.
Yeah, so it's like the middle of the night, and we're treated to that nice little cutscene, and as this soldier just like hits this building and like lands, like fuck. There's like this pen of pigs nearby, and they just kind of like they kind of look over at him, and one of them like sticks his snout out like between the fence posts, and just you can hear, they become quiet again, but the Brian Glass can just hear this.
God. Yeah, I think Brian Glass is just gonna assess his leg and see what's good.
Yep. So you look down at your leg. You feel down like there's nothing bleeding. You might try to like bear weight on it. You are able to bear weight on it. There's pain, but you it's not the searing pain of a fracture. You don't sense any structural instability, but you're definitely going to have to be walking with a limp unless you tape it up or do something to temporize it.
Yeah, I mean, I rolled a first aid skill if it'll apply.
Cool.
Just to kind of like maybe I grab my like leg pouch and rip it open and just basically duct tape my leg.
Just duct tape that ankle like an NFL player would or something,
Yeah.
It'll still hurt, but you're able to move on it. Just like
maybe shoot myself with some morphine.
Yep. So you also, as part of that, no, you do not for that number 2. Now I want there's another cutscene, and we have Sergeant Morrison after he steps out of the plane, and I want you to roll a d4 as well. Four. So you are actually going to be, once you get up and going, within sight of the your comrades and the rest of the LZ. But on the way down, some really bad shit happened. And you can describe whatever it is that scared the fuck out of you. Like technically, like your chute almost didn't open or you had one of those streamers. But I'm gonna need you to do a sanity check.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is on his way down, they're obviously under flak because the plane got shot down, and one of the guys who was parachuting down with him exploded like inches away from his own parachute and just covered him in gore.
All right. So roll your sanity.
All right. My sanity's supposed to be really good. We'll see how this actually goes. Trying to find where my sanity is. Okay, here it is. I don't think I did that right.
Nothing happened, so.
1 second.
What's
My
your sanity
sanity's
value?
80, so
If you can't find the button, you can just roll
Yeah.
D100. Oh!
1.
Okay, don't disregard my roll, but I was just checking to see if it worked.
So is that a failure?
No, that's actually
No.
the best you can get.
Critical success.
So what I'm gonna do is kind of house ruling it. So you actually are, you're a machine gunner. You're kind of you're reluctant to go over this precipice, but as you go off, you need to have a job to do, and this bad thing happens to you, but you just let it kind of fuel your hate for the enemy. And as you land, you're far away from the LZ, but you know exactly where to go, and you actually will gain a sanity point. So increase your sanity by
Holy
1.
shit, okay.
All right. And so the scene is going to cut back to Specialist Brian Glass, and you're nowhere near where you need to be. So I need you to RP that. What are you going to do? And do navigation or some other check that you think you can do in order to find your team.
Oh God. I'm not the person to get lost. Fucking God. Yeah, I think
Ask the pig. Where do we go from
I
there?
don't know where this roll.
so where do we go from here?
Okay, I fixed it, but now it's
Is
wrong.
that a French-speaking pig?
Actually,
There,
are there
all
road
speak, though.
signs? Well, that wouldn't help me.
where do they go from there?
Jesus
German.
Christ. Well, first, I think Glass is gonna recover all his shit, right? And he's probably immediately going to check out this building. Kind of building is it? Just an outlying farm building?
Just a little farmhouse, yeah.
Brian will kick open the door and see if anybody's in there with his Thompson sub.
So as you break open into this building, I want you to roll a luck for me as well. Roll it again.
That's a failure on the luck
That's a
by
failure.
3 degrees.
Yeah, so it's completely and totally empty. Whoever used to live here, they caught wind of something going on, the buildup of German forces. They left their damn pigs and they got the fuck out of Dodge. So it's totally empty.
Yeah, I think Brian's just gonna like he's a smart individual. I think he's gonna wait in there for a bit and use his cricket, which is like the self-identifier, and um, maybe mentally note this place down. Right? Is there any like type of paperwork in here? Any type of identifier, like a map, anything like that?
Yeah. So there's like the only thing that's left are like some old, um, like receipts and that sort of thing. Like there's like something like for feed for the livestock and that sort of thing. So in French, there's written the address of the place.
Well, good
And
thing I can read and write French.
yeah, and on one of them there is a kind of a tiny map of the local area that you find.
Yeah, I mean, he will pick that up and pocket it and like start trying to like head in the direction of his platoon, or they might be, but he's probably gonna fail horribly.
Okay. So you're heading off through the night, and how are you proceeding? Are you?
Definitely field crafting my way up there, like walking along the hedgerow, not running down the street, obviously, but like crouch crawling through the hedgerow, taking my time, being quiet.
Would you give me a field craft?
Fail.
Failure. So, Mr. Carbone.
We.
Where would you be getting this?
I don't know.
I mean, you're not in a village, but this is like a rural area. From time to time, there are like little farms. Maybe you're like helping a local family evacuate or something like that.
I could be hiding out in
ideas.
one of these houses. That's fine.
Okay.
So,
You see this guy like trying to be sneaky, but
so
in the moonlight you can see his silhouette.
yeah. So how about this? Dadir was in the house that he looked in, was hiding, and saw him kind of come in and come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts kind of following him a ways back, and he calls out in English, "You."
Turn around and blast him.
Oh yeah, no, fucking like, Brian instantly turns his Thompson sub in that guy, that voice's direction, like puts it up to shoulder height.
Yeah, he's not out in the open, obviously, and he says, "I'm French."
I think Brian actually kind of says in French, "Prove it."
And he responds in French, "I'm from Lyon. My name is Dadir Cravon."
With a name like that, you gotta be.
Yeah, like, I mean, Brian's just like, oh, good, he's actually a Frenchman, because I mean, no self-respecting German would call himself that. And he's like, American. He says American in his in his tongue, and in the French tongue, and he says, "Come out here. I need your help."
And he...
It's not perfect. You can tell it's his like second language, but like you know.
my English is awful. Well, actually, hold on. I don't know how bad it is. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
If it's 30, you can read and write kind of.
Oh,
fluently.
it's 90. It's 90.
English?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
I don't think I realized what it had needed to be, but anyway, he kind of crouches down, and you see him kind of comes out of these bushes, and he's got a rifle and a helmet on, and he comes over to your position and kind of crouches down next to you, and he looks you over briefly, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah.
He just like looks at me and says quietly like, "Listen, I don't know how you found me, Frenchie, but I need your help. I gotta find the rest of my platoon."
He's like, "We saw the parachutes drop all around," and he kind of points in kind of the direction he thinks he saw the most of them go.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, if you could help me in that direction, that'd be great. Here though," and he like, he offers his pack to him. He's like, "If they see you first and you don't look American, you're gonna get shot."
And he looks at you and looks in the way that he thinks everybody's gone, and he's like, "You can go first."
No thanks, Frenchie. I still don't know if you're one of them.
And he is completely not dressed, in a German style, right? He has like a kind of like a ragtag military uniform on, kind of like tan and greenish combined. And he shrugs and kind of.
Is it like a French military uniform, or is it like?
It is not a French military uniform. It would be like a kind of like a. It's kind of like a jacket, but it could be a military jacket, but it's.
Do you have like a French helmet or something?
Yes, he does have a French helmet.
Okay, I think that's enough.
One of the metal kind of
Maybe just like a
helmets.
field jacket or hunting jacket or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just says like, "No, you need to stay close to me, otherwise they might actually fire on you. We're here to take back France for you." Well, something you guys should have done for yourselves.
And he frowns and he shakes his head and he's like, "I'm a member of Free France." And he just like points in the direction. Should I roll a fieldcraft or something?
It would be actually, I think, navigate or track.
Yeah, any of those would be fine.
Not fieldcraft then?
Whatever. Yeah, I think that'd be fine too.
Well, fieldcraft, yeah, I would say that should be under its guise.
Okay.
Fieldcraft is very broad, like if you read the rules, so.
Ooh, you get a special success.
You're so special. So you guys are able to stay out of sight of any potentially unfriendly eyes, and eventually up ahead you hear those kind of cricket things that you that Glass would realize are from his voice. And so up ahead, you see a bunch of guys kind of ducked underneath the hedgerow. You're maybe a little higher elevation, and you can see just like the flicker of light, and you see somebody kind of hunched over a map, and there's people kind of reconvening and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, no, I will straight up just click the cricket. I mean, within earshot, obviously, and
Right.
I'll wait for their 2 cricket response.
And
Yeah, I think Brian will like tap the Frenchman on the shoulder. He's like, "All right, you need to not have your rifle up." And he's like trying to explain it, but he's like, "No, you know perfect English. Like, just don't have your rifle up and put your hands up."
So Sergeant Kelly is actually standing watch at the perimeter while Sutton gets everybody together and figures out their bearings. And Sergeant Kelly is the first one to hear Brian Glass and his French allies signal.
Well, he doesn't know it's us, right? It's just
Right, yeah, he hears it.
So Kelly hisses, "Flash!"
We agreed upon bang is As our call sign. No. And he goes, whore's tits. It's like French whore tits. Something of completely obscenely American.
Yeah, the deer
So-
just kind of looks at you blankly, not knowing really what that means. The context
Flash,
of
French
it.
whore tits. Yes, I like that a lot. I like that. That's our call sign. Flash, French whore tits.
There you go. I'm all for it.
Glass, is that you?
Yeah, I got somebody the lieutenant's gonna want to meet. Coming over the road now.
Come on.
And he taps the Frenchman on the shoulder. He's like, you won't need me to introduce yourselves, but make sure you get to speak to the lieutenant as soon as possible. Looks like he's looking over a map or something. Good shit that I
As you
found.
guys are whispering, kind of on your right flank, 20 or so yards away, comes big old Morrison, kind of hunched over, making his way towards everyone.
God damn it, Morrison! Could you get any fucking fatter?
Oh no, you heard him cursing before you actually heard him come in. He's
You're supposed to be
you heard
fucking
it's like,
quiet,
"Why
you
don't I
fat
get-"
Sasquatch-looking son of a bitch.
You hear, why do I gotta carry this fucking gun? It's like, where the fuck is my backup? Oh wait, that's right, he got his goddamn ass blown up before we even got to the fucking LZ. You heard this like hundreds of feet away before he actually showed up.
And
Fucking God.
the Diaz looks at Sergeant Glass, and he puts his
Special
hands
stuff.
over his. What he doesn't know, right? He puts a finger to his lips, and he's like, "Tell the fat one to be quiet."
Hey, Morrison, shut your fucking face hole, you pig.
And Sutton kind of pipes up and says, "Put a cork in it, assholes. You're gonna wake up every crowd from here to Berlin. Now let's get to it."
And he's like, Lieutenant, I got somebody you need to meet. Local. Free French.
Sutton lifts his head up from the map, looks to his left. He says, "Bring him here."
Yeah, no, and Glass will start tending to minor wounds and scrapes from the people that are here.
And the Frenchman walks towards the lieutenant. He's got his rifle in his hand, just like slung, not pointed or anything, just kind of to his side. And it's a Moss rifle, and he walks up towards the lieutenant and nods, and he's like, "Didier," and offers him a hand. "Free France."
And Sutton kind of looks up from the map and shakes his hand and says, "Free France."
Well, it's the Free French Army, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And looks at the map and it says, in English, "You speak English."
Oui. I speak
Wait, look.
English. Well-
No, we don't speak English.
I don't get it, but okay.
No, the joke was, we don't speak English. Come on.
Oh. Very dry humor.
It's supposed to be.
So Sutton kind of looks up and he puts out his map light, and instead he lights a cigarette and uses the faint glow from the ember of the cigarette to look at its map. He takes his left hand, takes a drag, blows it out, and taps the map with his left hand, and the ember illuminates this map. It says, "What's your name, soldier?"
Didier? Sergeant?
Didier.
Sergeant Didier?
And Tim Rayburn's nearby, and he lights up a cigarette too. He's a thick guy, square jaw, used to be a football player from Ohio. Didier, he goes, "Shot one of them one time." A couple of the boys kind of laugh.
Jesus Christ. Brian just says quietly as he's like tending to some guy's like grazing wound.
Sutton goes back and says, "So, Didier, he's very respectful. He says, just so happens we lost one of our good men. He said, you're going to have some, big shoes to fill. Knowing Tim Conahee, they're huge shoes, smelly too. But if you can help us out, you're going to have the loyalty of these men for life."
And the French sergeant
Morrison,
kind of good.
Morrison kind of takes a big smear of the blood that's all over his face and kind of just wipes it off in the Frenchie's jacket, and he's like, "Yeah, you have all my undying gratitude." And he just kind of takes a cigar out and hands one to Kelly and lights it for him, and then starts smoking one himself.
Morrison, could you be more of a dick?
And Didier looks at Sergeant Morrison and shrugs, and he's like, "I've seen more blood than you, my friend. Can guarantee that." And he doesn't seem bothered by it at all, and he looks back at the lieutenant and kind of like shakes his head a little bit, and he's like, "I'm here scouting for my unit. We're regulars, of course."
Kelly sticks a cigar in the left side of his mouth. And, "Thanks for the cheroot, Morrison."
He
And
kind of claps him on the shoulder.
he looks at the lieutenant, and he's like, "Where are you headed?"
So he looks down for the map and taps it again and says, "I'm all recollection and from the landmarks were here." And he points to the map. He says, "We need to get this. We need to get to this area. Are you familiar with it?" And being a local, you're pretty familiar with the terrain and the roads and that sort of thing. So I'm assuming that you know how to get there. But that's gonna be up to you on how you RP it.
Yeah, he just nods, and he's like, "We? What is it you're looking for there?"
And Sutton takes the last drag off a cigarette and plants it to the ground and puts it out with his boot. He folds up the map and tucks it into his pocket and says, "Confidential. We'll fill you in on a need-to-know basis." And he looks around. He says, "If it softens the blow up, you know about as much as any of these other guys."
He kind of points the other way than where you're going. He's like, "The Germans are that way."
Sutton slings his rifle over his shoulder and starts to head out. He says, "Not all of them." And it's like, "Come on, fall in line, man."
And Didier nods and seems amicable to take you there, and he turns and waits for everybody to get ready and kind of puts his rifle butt on the ground and kind of leans against it. And as he waits, he takes his tin out and pulls out a thin cigarette and lights it and takes a drag.
Yeah, Brian just, as he's like walking past you, as he's like helping a fellow soldier pick himself up, as you're like bent over to light this cigarette, he pats you on the shoulder and he's says in French, "Excuse the guys, they're a little bit, unhinged."
And the Frenchman kind of shrugs and he shakes his head and he kind of says back to you in French. He says, "They won't be so cute for long when you've been fighting for years as I have." He just kind of shrugs again. And he offers you his cigarette.
He just puts up a hand and shakes his head. It's like in French, he just says, "Nah, I don't smoke," and he like looks at you and then turns his head to keep walking.
And Didier turns and takes a drag, and he says, "Oui," and he says this in French, obviously. He's like, "It might kill you."
And Star Wars style screen wipe.
Wah, wah, wah. Okay, which one of these random guys got the axe?
There's only there's one fewer of them.
Fuck, God, the fucking full auto rules are disgusting in this game.
Yeah, there are a few. There are a
Full
few.
auto, I don't know.
There's a few house rules that tame it a little bit, just a little, just to make it a little more thematic. But so, as you make your way away from the landing zone, the sun begins to rise. The nocturnal sounds of the forest fade away. You can hear the invasion going on, the beginning parts of it, even from this far away. They're replaced by the sound of wind in the trees and the occasional twittering of a bird or skittering of a squirrel. Most of the sounds of combat towards the coast are gone, but now the sun is up, it gives you an uneasy feeling, like the calm before the storm. Navigating towards your target, you eventually come across a clearing. Sticking to the wooded area on either side, you continue forth until up ahead the way opens to a broken pattern of copses and meadows. Lieutenant Sutton stops, holding up his fist in a halt. He begins to survey the terrain. And who's the next highest ranking up? Would you say? I say.
Probably the technical sergeant.
Yeah, probably Kelly.
Kelly.
It'd probably go Kelly, someone else. I would be
It'd
excluded
be
from the
Kelly,
totem pole.
Morrison, and then everybody else down.
I would be excluded from the totem pole unless everyone else died, just because I'm a medic. Like I have other duties that are more important. Like I think I'm like the last resort kind of leader, as per rank would go. I'm not quite sure how it works in the army.
No, Morrison is thoroughly a third in command kind of guy, but he doesn't obviously think that he'll ever be that far in command, so he just kind of leaves it all to the LT and then, Kelly to be next in charge.
Yeah, like I'm worried about the health and well-being of my guys, the ones that are alive anyway.
Yeah, so the LT actually calls up Kelly and actually calls up Carbone as well, since he figures he might have some local knowledge of the area and the terrain, and kind of looks ahead at the meadows and all the copses of trees and that sort of thing. And you guys need to get just basically to the right side of the map, right? Where I'm pointing here. So he's Kelly comes up on his left and he's like, so what do you think?
So we're going this way?
Yeah, you just need to get to the right.
And Kelly looks at the terrain ahead of us. I don't know, LT. Sure looks like a good place for an ambush.
And the lieutenant nods his head in agreement, doesn't say anything. He casts a wordless glance over towards the Frenchman.
And the deer kind of like nods and he kind of like points in this direction. And he's like, should take the woods around and then perhaps send 2 men in this direction. He points towards the woods and see if they draw fire. The quick will survive, and then the rest can come around and flank if there's a machine gun in these trees. I'm basically giving up on my accent because it's awful.
Yeah, well, I don't pretend to try to do anything. Like when I actually speak German, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
So basically, he's saying that maybe we split, have 2 men go this way, the rest come around this way. If they start firing, the rest can flank the machine guns.
So there's this kid named Daryl King. He's a good old boy from Tennessee. He's listening and he goes, "Hey, I'm not too swift. Me and he points down at Glass. Me and Glass sprained ankles."
Yeah, I mean, Glass just like looks over at the LT and is like, if none of the guys have got the balls to do it, I'll fucking run out there.
Carbone like nods and takes a drag off a cigarette, and he goes, "I will go."
Yeah, well, Kelly's not okay with letting the medic go. Glass, you got to stay with these guys.
Roger that, Sergeant.
And so Sutton looks across the man. He's like, "Landing, come here." And Landing's like, he's like, "What?" He's like, Sutton says, "Hey, I've never known you not to run from a fight. You're good at it."
What, running from a fight? Have you seen this asshole?
Right. So he's like, "I ran a little bit of track," and he looks up and down at Carbone and says, "And I think I can beat this Frenchman in a race."
And he shrugs and he looks to Sergeant Morrison, the machine gunner, and he's like, "The machine gun covering fire if they start shooting at us?"
And
Morrison, I
Morrison's
got
like,
you.
Yeah. I'll need that fat ass Brown with me so I can lay down proper covering fire, or else I'm gonna load as well, and that's gonna take for fucking ever.
Yeah, so Carbone is what he's suggesting is he a machine gunner here, right? And so me and whoever else landing will run out here, and then if they start shooting, the rest of the squad can flank them from wherever, like in this direction, right?
And Sutton takes the input from his team. He instructs the machine gunners to get set up, and goes to Carbone and extends his right hand for a handshake, and he says, "You know what I said about loyalty for life? You do this for us, and the deal's sealed." So Jack Landing kind of comes up here, and he's ready to go.
And Dedir nods and he's like, "Let's see if we get to kill some Germans today." And he takes off in this direction to try to get in these trees over here.
All right, so that's I think you can run flat out. Yeah, so you can go. So if you're running flat out, you can make like basically it says meters, but it's yards. We'll say yards because America. And at a sprint, you can go 30 yards in unobstructed terrain. If you're trying to go through the woods, 15.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go like right in here where I can get cover at least. That's
Okay.
where I'm aiming for at a full sprint.
So let's see here. That's stupid. Did you see that?
I saw something.
That's dumb. These effects are all sci-fi, but anyhow.
Oh, do that again? I didn't see it. I was looking away.
Oh, one of these things.
Oh, yeah.
It's green. It's stupid.
Yeah, well, some of them are cool, right? Like, some of them are actually pretty baller. I like the fantasy stuff. Like the Dragon Breath and...
So basically, as Landing and Carbone run across the field, you just hear this.
Holy shit, that's like a fucking...
And so as you guys run, you're running across this field, right? And this machine gun opening up from
basically fucking point blank
from this region,
Mm-hmm.
and you successfully get into the trees, but Landing's like, fuck. He just like hits the ground. There's splinters flying at you from everywhere. You're also getting some fire kind of coming from this direction here. Sound like more kind of rifle fire type of thing.
And Carbone's like, get down, and he's like laying on the ground, covering his head, and just like laying prone basically until the other people start, until the something squad does something.
All right.
So you guys are kind of getting pinned down there, and something kind of creeps along the tree line, and he's like directs Morrison. He's like, suppressive fire.
So you roll
Well, we got to do
your
initiative.
particular skill in your weapon.
Well, yeah, we'll roll that, but we got to do initiative first, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of letting you guys kind of get set up like first a little bit. You guys, right now, all they know is about these guys, and so we'll let you guys kind of go, like get set up on how you're going to be positioned.
All right. How do you roll initiative in this game?
Well, we're not worried about it right now. I mean, you're gonna stay where you are. That's not gonna change.
Kelly and his carbine are going to sneak along this tree line, if I could get the stupid pointer to work. Which, for some reason, I cannot.
We need one of those tokens to be with me because I basically need a gunner assistant with me.
All right.
Fucking Bren gun over there. Not even that MG, just a Bren gun. Captured British gun.
All right. He's still AFK?
No, he's here.
Oh, okay.
Who?
You, Chris.
No, I was just saying I need one of the soldier tokens with me because technically speaking, I'll need a machine gunner's assistant.
Perfect.
Most of them are probably gonna be over here anyway.
Yeah, Brown would be technically with me because he'd be my backup. That's my normal guy.
All right, I got him there.
We could take 3 with glass and 3 with the sergeants, and then an extra for the machine gun.
All right, 3 are kind of with glass. 3 are with the sergeant and LT. And as Carbone and Landing are just getting peppered with fire there, Landing's like yelling across the meadow. He's like saying something about how slow Morrison is at getting that machine gun set up. And
You
he's just
fucking piece of shit! Get that goddamn gun
he's
up.
like on the ground covering his head, and there's just like the ground in front of him is just exploding. So eventually
You
Morrison,
hear something incredibly sarcastic from Morrison as he's trying to get that damn gun set up, but it's a fucking 30 cal and it requires time.
okay, oops. All right, so Morrison at turn, glass at turn.
I should build an initiative tracker for this game.
All right, Morrison, what's your dex?
It is 15.
Okay, glass, what's yours?
15.
All right, and Kelly?
Where is initiative on this thing?
It's your.
It's just your deck. It's your dex.
It's
Oh.
just your dex.
18.
There are some things you can get later on that bump it up, I believe, but
And Sutton is going to be 16.
Do you need carbones?
card blown.
Yeah, it's carbones.
15.
Nice. Who's got the 16?
Sutton. So carbone. What did you say? 15.
Yep.
So what you guys would do technically is roll percentiles to see who goes first, second, third, or whatever. All the 15.
Or player characters.
Yeah, your
We
play
don't-
characters doesn't matter. So
Yeah,
I'll
it
just let
doesn't
you
really
guys
matter.
decide. And same thing with my NPCs. So Sergeant Kelly.
Okay, Kelly is going to try and creep along through the wood line, trying to find where the Germans are firing. From where the Germans are firing.
All right, so you can move 15.
It's possibly going to cause for a skill roll. Also,
Right, I would
can
assume
you
field
give
craft.
us control over these tokens, these little like minion tokens.
I thought you guys had that, no?
No, I'm talking about the regular red shirts.
Let's see here. Do I have to go individually on all of them?
Yeah. I mean, it's not something we need to worry about now, but
Yeah, I'll just do it. Actually, let's do it. American Paratrooper. Edit. Here we go.
Oh, we should be able to control them all now. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
I still can't control them, but okay.
Should be able to. All right, Kelly, you're up. So I want you to do a field craft or some other sort of perception skill or whatever.
Just
Whatever you
did
think
pass.
appropriate. Field craft, success. So you have maneuvered. You actually are able to see this guy here,
Okay.
and you can attack him if you want.
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
what's the cheat or the cheat sheet options? Because didn't you move and attack, right? So, or hold on, you moved and used a skill. So, not to like fuck it up or like just take away from somebody, but I kind of don't know the system at all, so I don't want to like. I don't even know how some of this shit works, right?
I think that type of check would almost be like, roll a perception or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just basically to notice the guy who's probably tried to hide himself at least somewhat.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see the guy. Now your options are, you can attack. You'll leave yourself open. You can take cover, and since you didn't attack, like you can basically just hunker down behind a stump or tree, and that will get you 20 armor. Now, if you're in a firefight, now that's if you don't attack. Now, if you attack on the same round, but you've used a maneuver to take cover, that provides you 5.
Ooh.
Okay.
So it's almost better to get into cover. Holy shit.
Right.
Well, Kelly's whole shtick is the Delisle carbine, the silenced carbine. So his plan would be to take that guy out without giving himself away.
All right. Since you have that weapon, what I'm going to do is roll like a field craft to notice you after you fire it.
Okay.
All right.
Kelly's fucking the crazy sergeant who has all the cool gear.
Well,
I know why Rob wanted to play it.
from
Like
Texas.
the fucking LTs don't even get that shit. It's only the cool guys get it. One of the guys who know what they're doing.
Okay, now this sheet has a damage button, but I don't see an attack button. Am I missing something?
Well, you would do
You just roll the
your.
skill.
Firearms, I think.
You would roll the skill.
Oh, okay, got it.
You would roll the skill associated to such a thing, and then you would roll
Like
your damage
rifle
button
and-
if
Yeah.
you succeed. Don't forget to look at the wow, where's that thing at? Jared, I thought you had it. It was the fucking god, what was it? The automatic fire rules. Oh, it was in Discord.
That's crappy damage.
Might roll a 1.
Yeah, I think that 3 is, yeah, you rolled a 1.
Yep.
So 3. So this German is there, and he just suddenly feels this, like something hit him in the leg, and he looks around, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And he's basically clueless, and he kind of figures that maybe Carbone and these guys in this tree over here are firing at him, and so he kind of continues to fire that direction. All right, Sutton kind of creeps up along Kelly, and he's like, does that Jerry even know we're here? And you just pinged him?
No, LT. He still didn't know we're here.
All right. So I'm gonna he actually says that he's going to take 2 of the guys. He motions that he's going to go around and flank them, so you can continue to ping him. And then if he, he'll be on his flank, because if he knows your position, he'll be able to take him out. So he's going to take some of the guys and move. He'll take one of their guys and move around to here. And they take hard cover there as well. Let me just reveal. All right, Carbone.
So am I in full cover, or do I need to do that right now? Which is fine.
Yeah, you're in 20 right now. So if they tried to shoot you, you're pretty hunkered down. Now, if you choose to attack, you're at least going to have to come up somewhat, and they'll drop it to 5, which is still pretty good.
How far can I throw my potato masher?
Your grenade?
Mm-hmm.
I think probably like 30. I don't quite think you could reach them.
I'm just going to stay in cover then until I get some covering fire or something.
Do you want to like delay your action and act later?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yep. So Carbone is just getting like toasted. He stays hunkered down, and Landing is like, "Come on, Morrison, unleash hell!" Man, Morrison's
And
up.
Morrison starts whistling as he gets ready to unleash fire, because they won't be able to hear him over the sound of the gunfire anyways. Kind of it definitely sounds like something from like The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, even though it's like the 60s anyhow. So hold on 1 second. It is a different skill than I have listed there. 1 second.
All right. So you're just gonna. So and I'll let you keep the success. Just because we're going through the rules. But if you look at those burst rules, I think they're on there, right?
You didn't actually put them, but I found
Yeah,
them.
yeah, it says automatic weapons and burst. Oh, I just didn't share it with you guys. Sorry. Oop, there you go. So what you can do, and if you look on house rules, I'm going to just say you can do it up to 5 times. So what you can do, Chris, is say you're not just going to fire 1 shot because you have automatic weapon, but we're going to fire quote unquote 5 shots. It's not really 5 shots. We RP it as a burst, right? And so for every shot you fire, that increases your chances by 5%. So if you shoot 5 quote unquote shots, you're going to add
Bonus
25 to whatever your base weapon damage is. So if your base is, let's look, 75, so you're very good at it. That's like 100% hit rate. Okay. Now you hit, and now to see how many of those hit, you would do like a D5. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So roll one d5.
Yep. So roll 1d5. So 2. All right. Now what I want you to roll is damage twice. Roll damage on your weapons twice.
One second.
Oh.
Well, they still get armor, so.
Yeah, the first one impales too, though. So how are you going to RP this? So basically what you're doing is just spraying bullets across this field into this enemy machine gun position. And as you do this, the weapon stops firing. So how are you going to RP it?
It's a jam. Jammy jam.
So, he can kind of vaguely see kind of a German kind of bullshitting with his friend as they're sitting on a machine gun in the middle of a meadow that they don't think anybody's ever going to come through. And he's like, okay, you're going to be my bitch. And then he unleashes hell, and he's like, bah! And then he goes to aim for the guy who's actually got the gun, and then click! And he's like, God damn it, Brown, this is your fault. There's a blank round in that thing. He starts blaming Brown for all of his issues.
What do you mean your gun doesn't jam?
Oh, I thought you said jammed.
He got an impale, right? He rolled a 1.
No. On your damage, that shouldn't matter on your damage. So impale is that he rolled the special. Let me see here. Hang on a second. Never mind. You didn't get an impale. You
It's not to say.
Yeah. So that's on the actual attack, the attack roll, not the damage. The damage you just straight damage. So so you fire across the field. That machine gun emplacement actually stops firing. You can't really tell how much damage you did, but you hear screaming from across the meadow, kind of in German, and all you know is that machine gun stops firing at Carbone and landing.
Even though thematically it doesn't matter, you can just hear him keep firing on that position until he's for sure that they're done.
Right. So at this point, Carbone can go at any point in the order now. So he can do whatever.
I think
or
Carbone.
It's Glass's turn.
I think Carbone and Jack are actually gonna. I'll take over for Carbone and Jack. I think they're actually going to move and dive into cover as the covering fire is happening. To up here.
Did Jason have to leave?
Yeah, but he's dealing with a baby. So, like I said, they're gonna move forward into a different position and take cover.
All right. So they run across the field. There's nobody firing at them now, so they are breathing a sigh of relief. They dive into heavy cover and probably continue through the undergrowth.
And Glass is going to send his guys sprinting across the field into this with him alongside him.
I think you can reach that. Yeah.
That would be like it's 40 meters, man. That's like fucking Medal of Honor sprint.
Yeah, 30 at full strength. But once you get into the woods, I'll just say you can move a little bit further.
And it will have suppressive cover.
So it's basically like it's maybe not that we're being directed with tactics, right? But it's like kind of just part of our training. We kind of file up, and maybe Jack kind of wasn't doing it himself, but Carbone was like, "Come," to Jack, and Jack followed him up to the top point, and now we've got like this German position completely surrounded, basically.
So this guy down here, he basically kind of sees kind of glass go across the field. Maybe he's thematically firing but misses him. He sees Carbone leave cover. He sees his friend on this right flank, the machine gun, like stopped firing for some reason. He assumes they're dead. So he's going to go ahead and fall back.
Fucking light him up.
So he'll fall back and take cover. So he's going like from tree to tree, falling back and back to Sergeant Kelly.
Get him, Sergeant Kelly. He's got low armor right now.
Can Kelly see the German?
Yeah, I mean, he went far enough away. You're going to have to make another field craft to see him again.
All right. Okay, so Kelly can see him, and we'll take a shot.
Yeah, move a
Get
little
him.
closer. Just fire.
What's the range on your rifle? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably 50 yards in the woods, pretty far. So maybe get a little closer.
All right.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to move and fire.
It's not like there's a aim mechanic. I don't think there might. I think there is one, but it's kind of different than we're used to.
Oh yeah, the system is completely. I mean, I'm used to these kind of systems, but
Oh, special success.
which means he gets impaled.
Yeah. So roll your damage.
Okay.
Roll it twice.
Roll it twice. Yeah.
Oh
He's
God!
gone. He's gone.
You just chrome domed this guy from the fucking back of the woods.
So this guy, you see, you can hear him in the wound. You can hear him like in the woods, just like, yeah, you know, like from the movies, zip, 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 dunk, dunk. You just hear one just dunk, and then you just see a red spray in the distance, just, and it's quiet, and nature continues on. The birds continue. They care not for the realm of men.
I need to see if there's like a suppressing fire mechanic.
Yep. So Sutton, for his part, he looks over to Kelly and gives him a thumbs up and continues to clear the woods in front of him.
Kelly gives the lieutenant a nod. Likewise, continues creeping through the bush.
All right. Carbone and his boy Landing is up again.
I think Carbone is actually going to raise his rifle and look around at the situation, trying to see if he has a better look at what's going on. Like
Trying to get the line of sight here. You guys can see.
Does that German individual have does he have eyes on that gun or lack thereof?
So what you can see across the field is that the machine gunner who was actually manning the weapon was the one that was killed, and he's in the process of getting back on that machine gun.
Yeah, I think Carbone's actually going to. Well, he doesn't want to. Is he in the process of about to fire that gun?
Nope, takes a full round.
He's technically in cover though, right?
Carbone is, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the German. He'd be technically in cover because he's not
Yeah.
firing.
Right.
I think. Is there any way that I could roll a firearms check to impede his actual progress of getting that gun up?
Yeah. If you hit, I mean, if you attack him, I think I'm going to edit that 20. I think that 20 cover should be like, it's in the rules. I think that should be like prepared
Well,
You're
my
hunkering
thing
down.
is like it's in there for a reason, right? That's to give you a little bit more armor because combat in this system is deadly, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's one
20
shot
is
killed
like,
basically. But I don't think you should take it away because it's in there. One thing you might want to do is give it freely, so like it evens the playing field, right? It's sort of like if you're in cover, if shit's obstructing your vision, like I mean you're in cover, right? Like
right.
I think it's in there for a reason. But I mean obviously we're play testing.
Yeah, I think he's kind of in the process of like moving towards this weapon. He has to sit up to get it going again. He has to move his buddy's body off of the thing.
Yeah,
So
the only thing I really wanted to do with Carbone is because he's not in a complete advantageous position. I wanted him to like just try to keep this guy from getting the gun up, right?
yep.
I mean, if
And
he
so
can
that
move, if he can move, I'd rather him do that, right?
Mhm.
Like, but I don't want him to not have cover, right? So ideally, I would want him to move to about right there and jump behind a bunch of trees or something.
I think you can do that.
Now, I want to roll. Can you just roll Carbone's Fieldcraft for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Carbone. Oui, baguette. That's just to make sure nobody's hiding in the
almost gonna
fucking
take a fun-
trees somewhere.
Who you calling a maggot?
Yeah, so Carbone and Landing head up that way. They do not see anyone.
Maybe that's what you like. Maybe Kelly sees is Jack and Carbone like cut across like a bit of open terrain as they like go to flank this guy and his gun.
Mm-hmm.
And Glass running up the middle, right? Like with the rest of the guys, trying to
Right.
outflank him on three sides. So let's go to the machine gunner. What's he gonna do?
So, where is the next loudest amount of fire coming from the enemy?
Nothing's firing right now.
Nothing right now. All you have is that position you're
That
on.
one lone gunner.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm gonna make his life a living hell.
Don't forget he has 20 armor, so most of your shit's probably
That's
gonna be
fine.
ineffective.
But that's part of the job.
Hmm.
At the very most, at the very least, I'm gonna keep him suppressed.
The one thing I don't like, Bo, is the just straight up +5s to your bursts. I think it should be like negatived. You know what I mean? It should take away instead of give. If you get what I'm saying, because like it's a
Yeah,
burst.
that makes sense. It would take away, isn't it?
Because with
The
a
rules, it's in every other system I can think of. If you do auto fire, it makes it harder. It makes it harder to hit, but if you do, right?
well, there's also the thing of like your gun's gonna hike up when you repeatedly fire. That's just a matter of fact. And I mean, more bullets mean more chances to hit, but I don't know. You have to sacrifice accuracy. And the whole thing about like, because that brings it up to if you roll a 25 or below, you are going to get a impale regardless of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think any of that gets through.
Well, I can't do any more damage than that.
Yeah, I don't know how multiple shots.
9 and 15. Yeah.
Because the
Four
second
of
one's a
it.
crit as far as damage goes.
Oh, it's no, you didn't crit. You crit on your attack rolls. I see how it is. You combine the damage totals, so 4 damage goes through. He likely has more HP than 4, but
Yeah.
I like this
So
system, but it's confusing.
Does it at the very least suppress him, keep him from, or at least delay his turn one more from getting on the machine gun?
I don't know. I mean,
No,
he should be combat trained.
Yeah, he's a dogged veteran,
That's fine.
but it hurts him.
All right, next person.
Glass. Glass is actually going to fucking open ballistic fucking hell on this guy. With his dudes. Just putting as much rounds in this guy's face as possible. So, if we're gonna go by rules as written, I'm going to do... I don't know, how you want me to roll this?
Just roll this an attack.
Well, if we do submachine gun, right, and then we do a 5 for each shot.
I think after this encounter, I like your idea about having it decrease rather than increase.
Yeah, so
This
by
encounter, let's just keep
that encounter, I'm pretty sure I just got an impale. No, I'm just below it. Actually, no, I do make it because 25 plus
value
10% from my favorite equipment, which is the Thompson, which makes it I do it by like 7.
So
I impale by 7.
So you would, if you want to do a 5-round burst, so you would do. So what you would do a D5.
Two.
And so you roll 2 attacks and then double that number.
2 attacks and double that number? Are you sure?
Oh, no. On a burst, only the first hit impales. So roll your 2 damage attacks.
2 damage attacks, okay.
Yep.
I was about to say, I was a bit confused how it was.
Yeah, on the rules it says only the first bullet impales.
Which would double that damage? Be 10?
Yeah, so 10 plus whatever you do next.
Ooh, that's 18 damage. Not enough to get through his armor, I don't think.
Nope.
But if he fucking fires during this, I mean, the rest of the guys aren't even firing. So, I mean, if he doesn't have massive negatives, I don't know what to tell us.
Yeah, so he gets up and starts to fire into this copse of trees. And I imagine you guys would have some cover as well. And the night is wearing on, so we're going to RP the rest of this one real quick. He's pretty badly outnumbered. So yeah, so he's chucking bullets away into this copse of trees. Glass feels bullets whiz past him, but none actually hit. And
like a madman, Kelly sees Glass just like run out to the edge of the forest as a spray of bullets come by and just fucking raise his rifle up and like pepper this thing's position.
And he's shooting ineffective bursts from his machine gun, right? He's kind of poking his head up from his cover, spraying some bullets in the air, kind of ducking back down. This is the guy that wasn't trained primarily on the weapon.
Yeah, Morrison keeps him pretty well, locked down.
So how are we gonna kill this guy? Kelly, I want you to get all super sneaky on him. Or we could let Carbone have the stealth tackle kill.
Yeah, you guys can more realistically cover the ground, but Kelly will. That guy seems to be pretty occupied, so Kelly will break cover, run across the little open area into the next copse of trees, and make his way through to try and get a vantage.
Yeah, I think we give this one to Carbone, right? Like, Jack and Carbone get over here to the edge, and Carbone just like pulls out his rifle and like from the side, this guy has no armor and just gets obliterated. It's like a clear shot, a one-shot kill. Boom, dead.
So as Carbone sneaks up behind this guy and shoots him, what happens is actually he fires and you just hear you just horrible screaming, but he falls down into cover. You just kind of hear kind of continued screaming and crying and blubbering and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think Glass will use this time to like get his guys and run across the field toward the gun to meet up with everybody else that's heading over there.
Lieutenant Sutton kind of hearing that gunshot and obviously no more fires coming from that machine gun emplacement. He's like, move out. Like, he goes ahead and yells across the meadow to Morrison to pack up his weapon and kind of catch up to everyone else and go to try to find another advantageous tactical position.
Fucking pick up their goddamn fucking MG-34 or whatever their shitting gun is.
Yeah, I was actually considering taking their gun because they might have more ammunition than I do. I only have enough for what a paratrooper group gets, and one of my gunners is dead, so I probably only have maximum ammunition.
Well, I mean, part of Paratroopers is like they started running out of ammunition. So, I mean, picking up what could be useful would be a good idea.
Yeah, that's my point. Is I'm gonna go
Maybe not
over
another
there
fucking machine gun, but
Yeah, I think you're kind of loaded down with a lot of shit right now. But yeah, definitely fill up on ammo. And as you roll up on this guy, he's clearly badly wounded. There's no weapons nearby. His lower leg on the left is bleeding profusely. He's very pale. He's diaphoretic and sweaty. He's kind of saying prayers in German.
I think
Morrison's
Glass actually
gonna offer him his. Sorry.
Glass just kind of runs up on him and he sees him, and he actually just says in like kind of spotty German, but it's still like basically fluent, like, I can't save you, you're dead already.
Yep. So you close on this guy and he's kind of sputtering and looks around for his weapon, but like I said, he's kind of resigned himself and starts muttering prayers in German. His eyes are wide with both fear and anger. And Sutton kind of goes up on him. He lights a cigarette. And
Well, that's what I was
who
gonna do,
speaks
but-
German? You, Glass.
Yeah,
does,
I
right?
do. I do.
Yeah. He says, "Looks like we have a live one. We got to figure out what he knows."
Yeah, I mean, Glass just sits down in the little foxhole that they had and starts talking to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Morrison will actually offer him a lit cigar, to kind of help ease the situation. He knows when an enemy's beat. He expects the same treatment in return.
Glass will look down and he says, do you know anything of this research facility?
So this guy takes this cigar and takes a few puffs from it and kind of eases his head back, and you can see that's at least some small measure of comfort. He's probably going to be more likely to give you information this way. And he looks to Glass and looks down at his leg, and he's here. It's clear to him what's going to happen. So he kind of spills the beans and says that they were part of a vanguard, kind of a picket force, because they're evacuating some nearby research facility. He says there's a road ahead that will take you closer. And he also mentions something about an American prisoner that they have, and that a lot of the Wehrmacht had problems with the way that the SS officer was treating this guy, but everybody was kind of too scared to speak up about it.
Yeah, I mean, Glass will try to inquire about how he was treated, what he looks like, the American, if he's seen him, where were they going, are they still there?
he says something about nobody really knows what they're evacuating, and there's a bunch of trucks full of like what's rumored to be artifacts, and they joke about it and they call it the blue stuff because a lot of these trucks seem to, like, in the night as they were being evacuated, they seem to glow blue in the night.
Yeah, and while this is happening, Glass is pulling out his pistol, and he like pulls out a magazine and like starts removing all the bullet casings except for one.
And Morrison kind of looks at it and he's like, Jesus, man, that's too cruel even for us.
Glass just looks at him, over to Morrison, and he says, "Would you rather die and bleed out? No. A man having to take his own life is poetic enough." And he looks to the German who says, "Do you want," in his tongue, right? "Do you have anything you want passed on? Letter?" And he hands him, not the pistol, like unguardedly to, like, you know, whatever, but he says, like kind of shovingly, like, or rather just out in the open, and he's like, "Mirror you."
Yeah, so he kind of nods his head and takes the pistol. He's obviously in a position that if he went shooting at you, he'd be like
Instantly gunned.
down. He has lots of guns pointed at him right now. And he takes the pistol with his right hand, and left hand he fumbles at his breast pocket, and he takes out a folded letter, and he gives it to Glass and says, "Brunhilde, give this to her. She come across her."
Oh my god. Broomhilda.
Brunhilde.
It takes all that Glass has to not laugh at the name, but he is somber in the act, and he looks down at the poor man, and he said, he turns to, like, not look away, but like look to the side so he doesn't see what happens.
And then at that point, Morrison will literally just shoot him with his 45, shoot themselves, unless it's, you know, he, you know, while the other guy thinks it's poetic, to him that's just barbaric. He'll put him out of his misery and let it, you know, be chalked up to a casualty of war rather than suicide.
All right, so you do that, and I want Morrison to roll your sanity.
That's what I was avoiding.
Well, you know, he did that because it was, if he did it, he thinks that it would be a further affront to his sanity.
You're still a guy that didn't want to jump out of the plane, and now you're putting a bullet in somebody's head.
Well,
like,
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying that I see people die all the time, and it weighs on you no matter what.
Oh shit! I failed.
Yeah. So D6.
Three sanity, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you lose 3. You have plenty to go, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he specifically chose this build because it had high sanity, but he just looks over to Rivers' character and he's just like, "You're a son of a bitch for making me do that," and he just kind of looks at him disgusted and walks off.
Like, Rivers didn't make you do anything. What would Rivers be disgusted, or do you think he would suffer anything from that, or?
No. Glass is a doctor in training. He's a bit taken away from it, but I think Glass is honestly more taken aback that Morrison would just outrightly do this behind this guy's back. Like, he didn't even give him the decency to, like, you know, like, see
it's
it coming.
More of ancient Christian morals rather than anything else. It's a man who commits suicide will go to hell kind of thing, or rather Catholic morals, I guess. I don't know. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah. I mean, that would be good if your character thought that. It would still take a strain on you to, you know.
No, that's fine, and that's why he, you know, blames the doctor for doing that.
Yeah, I think Glass just utters something in German. And yeah.
And Sergeant Kelly, are you disturbed at all, or what are your thoughts?
Actually, Kelly was considering putting the German out of his misery himself, so I don't think he's terribly upset about it.
All right. Let me get everybody. I'm guessing Jason's still gone.
He is gone. But that's okay. He's got a video to rewatch.
I'm actually going to get everybody together. Everybody move yourselves into a tight formation so I can cut and paste.
I can't move Carbone.
I'll get it for you. I think you have to actually copy.
Don't forget, I think I can only see my name. It's not pertinent now, but I can only see my name. I can't see the other players' names.
Oh, how do you fix that?
You have to hit the players can see on the bar. It's not nothing we should worry about now.
Okay.
Oh, I like this map. Did you make this in the thing?
I made it in Google search.
I like it. Sounds useful. I gotta mark down that I've shot 5 shots.
Yeah, everybody mark down your ammo.
I don't even know how many bullets you want to actually equivalent to. Because
Burst
that's a
for a
lot
30
of-
cal would be 10 shots.
So
Well,
two
you
bursts.
you picked up some of that ammo though, so
Well, it's not transferable between those two guns at all.
Yeah.
I don't
Talking about an
even know.
MG42 versus the 30 cal.
There's not a round at that time that's transferable between the two countries.
Oh God, no.
Unless you want to say essentially I found a guy, who died in a train, took his ammo.
No, we're the only squad out here. So
Yeah, you guys are the only ones this far back.
Well, then I might not take the gun, but I might start taking the ammo. For the
it's a lot of fucking
MG42.
weight, dude. We still have all our
Well, he
paratrooper
wouldn't
gear.
take more than his weight. He would just start filling the bottom of the box, essentially.
Don't worry about it. It's not D&D. Not loot based.
You say that, but this is Call of Cthulhu, my chum.
Battered and maybe wounded, you manage to escape the battlefield. Gunfire is still erupting in the distance as the Venom Company makes its way towards its goal. The sun is now higher and the lighting is better, though it's still far before noon. Eventually, you strike a road, keeping to the trees on either side. You follow it until suddenly you smell something and hear something. Smoke. Soldiers speaking in German. It's so far away you can't hear what they're saying, but it appears you're near the end of your mission. At least this bit of it. So something again kind of creeps up and tells folks to stop. And over these trees here, you can see like kind of in this direction, you can see like a thin wisp of smoke, and that's like kind of from the direction you hear the German voices.
Can I try to listen?
Yes.
Because there's a skill for that, and it's covered by Fieldcraft. Actually, no, listen isn't. It's stealth and concealment and hide that are covered by
I think
Fieldcraft.
listen's its own thing, but
It is, and I actually have skill points in it. Huh, fail. Oh well.
so you get up there, it's just like you can hear they're talking in German, but you can't make out what they're saying.
Yeah, I think Glass just stands by Lieutenant Sutton and is like, I can't make out what they're saying. Too far away. Too loud.
Sutton just scratches his head and says, "Feel like we've been in this situation before." And he's like, "Carbone, landing, get up here."
I think it might be best to try to get across that road before anybody is the wiser. I don't know. Your call.
All right, let's do this. See if he figures out the wise thing to do.
Tactics.
Well, I'm actually trying to, tactics aside, I'm trying to this is his sense with his man. Like, should he trust his own, what he wants to do? Should he listen to his troops and their ideas, that sort of thing?
Mhm.
So I'm thinking either tactics or command. Pretty similar in both, actually. They're both pretty high. Yeah, we can do tactics.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Sutton listens to Glass. He's a smart fellow. He says, "You're right." He says, "What's your plan?"
Well, it's a hell of a shot, but I was thinking that maybe me and some of the Spryer guys could go over. Now, it's probably not to the technical sergeant's liking or Sergeant Kelly's liking, but I need to stay with the majority of the group. So sending somebody across the way who's faster to get their attention. And he points across the road as they're all kind of squatted down, and then putting the machine gun somewhere where there isn't two fucking trees in the middle of the goddamn road. Probably the most. Or no, he's like, no. I was thinking something like, depending upon if we get eyes on the Germans or not, if they're like, and he kind of points down this other road, like, right here, maybe over there, and he's like, Sergeant Kelly, you got any input?
Kelly's eyeing the ground in front of us, and his proposal is for him to sneak through the trees here, try and dart across into these trees, and get up into sort of the fork in the road here.
Use the crickets for communication.
Yeah, see what he can see, and one click, come on, 2 clicks, stay there.
Obviously, Morrison has something to say, but he keeps it to himself, waiting for the LT to either allow him to give input or just keep his mouth shut.
Maybe putting Sergeant Morrison's gun up somewhere useful.
Yep.
Probably be our best bet. You know more about that than I do, LT.
So Sutton talks to all the men, and he kind of assesses their strengths and weaknesses, and he knows these guys. He's trained with them for a long time, and he's like, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Kelly and his boys leapfrog up to, and this is going to be successful because we have 2 successful checks. Leapfrog up to this copse of trees. We're going to have you other boys go across, see if you draw fire, and then he says, Morrison, how about you come and set up a machine gun, probably with Kelly's group. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, out of character, yeah, that's essentially what his suggestion was going to be. Is
Actually,
right.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Right here, he's going to be practically useless because there's too much cover to, be essential or useful. He's got to be somewhere. I was initially going to suggest he be right here, but right here is even more ideal because that's a better line of fire.
Yep. And so Sutton gets everybody kind of organized, and on the mark, you guys all go and take very advantageous positions because of the tactics and commands checks. So why don't you go ahead and move your folks?
I think we should still do do this quietly, right? Like,
Field craft or something like that if you want. But I think you're going to, once you get eyes on these guys, you're going to kind of realize that it's a non-issue. So
So field craft for stealth.
you guys don't need to make another roll.
Holy shit, are those tanks?
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
we just got our way into that fucking base, my dudes.
Because 30 cal ain't piercing through any Panzer.
Actually, I know where I want Sergeant Kelly and actually Sergeant Kelly. Could you get up there on that ridge, like on the opposite side, like over there?
I don't see why he couldn't.
If you're particularly stealthy enough, right? Like, I would say Sergeant Kelly would just fucking go up there with his like 2 stealthy dudes and like fucking like we can see them from where we are.
Yeah, with all those rolls, with the successful tactics and command, I think you can sneak up on these guys, and I kind of tell you what you see because they're not paying attention basically. So, all right. So, as you sneak forward to kind of get a better look about what's going on, you see one soldier that emerges from a tent. It's this guy here. This is like the morning. He like stands next to the fire and starts to take a piss in it, and steam's kind of going up. And the other guys are kind of joking with him and whatnot in German. You can see the 2 tanks. Both of them are parked, and neither engine's running. On each, a soldier's like sitting on top of a tank eating breakfast, like an MRE or some sort of schnitzel.
Schnitzel.
There's also a large truck carrying barrels that are like bound together with metal strapping. Near the passenger side of that truck is a soldier smoking a cigarette. And then from inside the tent, you can just hear voices talking, kind of yelling.
Fucking light them up.
So how far is the lieutenant from me?
Lieutenant's with Glass and Carbone and those guys.
So I can't even shit.
So we
it's
could
all
use
gonna be
hand
up to me
gestures.
to
We all
where-
know where
You use
we
hand
generally
gestures,
are.
and you have trained for a long time. You know your objective. You have decentralized command. You guys know what you need to do.
Well, the tanks seem like a pretty big threat, but you know,
They're not a threat.
command tent also seems like a pretty good target.
The engines aren't even running on these tanks. Like there's guys sitting on top of them.
Yeah, it would probably take a good 5 minutes for them to.
You
even
know
start
who would be
up.
a great asset to this team? Like, we don't even start this fight until the technical sergeant has his field day with his silenced fucking rifle. Just pop.
Right. Well, that's what Kelly's lining up on is that guy because nobody's really looking at him.
Maybe from our tactics roll,
Then
right? If we read
Move in
it.
this way.
The tactics roll would be on successes, right? Able to make adequate tactical assessment. His combat tasks are performed systematically in accordance to his tactical goals. Now, since we've got the advantageous position, maybe we went off of like we'll attack when Kelly makes his move, right? Like, because Kelly is the like not quote unquote sniper for this group, this platoon, but he's like the designated marksman, I would assume, right?
Demolitions and removal of guard types is Kelly's forte.
Okay. Is he particularly good as a marksman? I mean, he has a silenced rifle, so like.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Maybe that's just how we
Well, I mean,
roll as
for that
Alpha
matter,
Platoon.
Morrison's
Like
got
we
a
don't have a
75 rifle.
designated sniper. We have just a bunch of guys who are really good at shooting, and like and Kelly just happens to have like cool fucking shit that makes him a little bit stealthier because he has to be.
And because of the tactics and command roles, you get basically a free full round action before.
Oh,
Start.
dude, Kelly, fucking light up that back tank, dude.
Because the way combat starts in this system is that everybody with an aimed and ready weapon goes first. There's like a pre-round, and then it starts again. Does that make sense?
It's basically we get to act.
Well, speaking tactically, even if he were to, I mean, unless he was able to completely conceal the shot of him taking out the guy in the back tank, technically speaking, you want to take out the guy in the front tank first. So the guy in the back tank, even if you were to get it running and moving, he wouldn't be able to really get a clean line of shot until much later. But that's, neither here nor there.
I would say it'd be up to Kelly how he handles it. Really, I mean,
Yep.
as soon as Kelly starts firing, Glass is gonna run up to that fucking tent and just spray wildly into it.
Well, in theory, they shouldn't hear the Delisle go off, and so if Kelly takes out the guy on the back tank, no one's looking at him. If he shoots the guy on the front tank, then these other two guys could potentially see the guy fall
Yeah,
dead.
no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, tactically speaking, if you're going to stop one person, stop the guy who's going to slow up everybody else.
Well,
Right,
I
makes
mean,
sense.
you have a fucking machine gun. You should just spend your time getting it ready during your turn and just pointing it at the
yeah.
direction of the front guy or the tent.
Honestly, I think the first person I'm going to go after is the command tank, because if I can light that up, it'll give us the best opportunity to keep them in chaos.
Or just shoot the barrels.
Anyhow, it's up to whoever's first in the initiative.
Yes, shoot the barrels.
Does it look like our mysterious blue stuff?
Just, I don't know. It's just like a little incandescent in the, a little bit odd in the 1940s to see something like that.
Ah, okay, yeah. Gotcha. So it's not like fuel barrels. It's actually like something weird.
Something fucking weird.
Okay, I was thinking gas.
I was thinking gas too. I was like, why
Yeah,
don't you just
maybe you're idiots and think that's what it is. Maybe you should roll an intelligence.
actually,
Gas doesn't glow faintly.
Oh, it is glowing.
Right, no, if it's glowing, then I definitely don't think it's fuel.
Maybe we got really shitty eyesight and we can't tell the difference.
What does my knowledge tell me?
That it ain't fuel.
Yeah, I think Glass does like a. Somehow we have a hand signal for like to pass up the chain.
And this is like in the day and age of like the really early sci-fi stuff where anything radioactive glows. But you're smart enough to know like something radioactive isn't going to glow either. Like it doesn't like just glow in the daylight. So if it's glowing, you're like you haven't seen anything like this before.
I've maybe been around
Some kind of
like,
crowd secret weapon. Be careful.
Yeah,
I've
you
been
might have
around
like,
maybe
you're
like a radio or an X-ray machine once.
Yeah, it's like
once.
obviously that okay, this is why we're here,
Yeah, I mean, I
This
point
is-
at it and bring it up to Sutton, and I basically say, "Don't shoot that. That's what we're here for."
He says that's the secondary objective. We're here for the prisoner.
Like, and then Glass just kind of blinks and then blinks again, and he's like, "Don't shoot that. It might do something very bad."
And he looks at you and just says, agreed.
Are they like notifying Morrison at all? Because I just failed my intuition check.
It'd be intelligence, not intuition, but he
Well, that was my only it's
I mean, Glass will like
incredible
look at you
intelligent.
and try to get your attention through hand signals to get passed up to you, and like he points at the barrels from where he is and does like a shakes his head no, and then like does like a time tick and then a boom, a bomb exploding with his hands.
Hey Morse, do you want to do a field craft
So,
to
like-
see if you got correctly interpreted his signals? Because if you fail,
Yeah,
it
yes,
might,
I do.
be like blow it up. You know?
Shoot that now! Hurry! Yeah.
Yeah.
You fucking ass.
Yes, field craft.
1 second, I accidentally hit the wrong button. Because Morrison's by far no idiot, but on that same note, this is a combat situation.
Coming up with all these like elaborate gang signs that I'm throwing up. Sign language.
Third base coach.
1 second, I have it here somewhere.
Nice.
So how do you RP that, Morrison?
He sees it as,
Shoot the
you know,
barrels.
wait 5 seconds, blow up the barrels, and then unleash fire on the first tank, and then the second tank. Because
Morrison's a
he
fucking
can't even see
retard.
half of this shit. So he's just like making it up as he goes, because he's like concealed by a bush or something. So he's like, he thinks he's showing them 2 fingers, but he's only seeing 1 finger. So it's like, shoot this barrel, highest priority number 1. That kind of thing.
Fucking asshole.
And so Morrison gives him a thumbs up. He's like, all right, I got you.
And Glass is probably like, okay, yeah, he understands.
Fucking.
All right, Kelly, why don't you kick this off? Let's do a surprise round.
All right.
Same note, like freaking Brown's in front of him, so he can't even see half the shit.
Success. All right, so Kelly hits the guy on the back tank for 7.
Ooh. Ooh.
So again, I'm gonna use his field craft to see if like these guys like figure out where you're coming from. So again, like you're going to be able to ping at them until they figure out what's up. So there we go. Okay. So this guy, ting, like a shot goes through his leg. It's like ricochets off the tank. He's like fuck in German, Scheiße. And he
All
immediately,
right, I'm gonna immediately light up on him because I thought that was a signal.
he slides off the tank like down to here. He's knocked off the tank. He rolls out. He kind of stands up. He's like, Scheiße. He's kind of like pointing up towards where Sergeant Kelly is located. But you guys still get the surprise round. So
Glass is just gonna like move forward and just point blank this guy.
all right. So first of all, Morrison, are you doing a burst or?
So we both have initiative or the same in
Well,
dexterity. So
Yeah, everybody's pretty much the same. So
I took it as take out the barrel, so I'm gonna keep my shots to where they count rather than just let them spray and pray. Because I took it as shoot those barrels, highest priority, make your shots count.
okay, so you're going like aim shot at the barrels. You hit it. It's a special success. It's especially bad.
Which makes sense, honestly.
So what's going to happen though is so you hit this truck, and there's just like bullet holes along the side of this thing, and this blue stuff kind of starts seeping out. It's not liquid, it's not smoke. It falls to the ground, but then starts to kind of almost kind of just stays along the ground like a fog. And this soldier here, G1, can you guys even see this? So this
No.
guy, he kind of steps away from it, and he's like, ah. He looks obviously very frightened from his facial expression, but you guys don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna fucking lick this asshole up.
Which one?
The guy who's directly in front of glass.
All right. You have a Thompson, right?
I have a Thompson, yes. Point blank fire. If the distance to the feet is equal to or less than the shooter's dex in feet, the shooter's chances to hit is doubled. So technically, my
100.
chance to hit if we did 25 negative would be 70 maximum plus 10 be 80. Minus 25 would be 65, or rather 55, then doubled, so it's back up to 110.
Yeah, it's 100.
Am I alive still?
We're live.
Well, undead.
Sweet.
No, just kidding.
Okay, so that's a impalement.
He's dead.
It's 3 shots. Can I have the other 2 shots just be like into the tent that I'm next to?
This tent?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, sure.
Just randomly into the tent. I don't care if they do damage or not. Like, it's just, I heard voices in there, so fuck them.
Yep.
That's like 10 bullets going through that tent in like a gangster style shoot.
Absolutely. You don't hear any more voices.
I'd hope not.
Terrible soldiers.
All right, it's Carbone and the boys.
Boys.
So Carbone,
Mm-hmm. Carbone has no idea what's going on.
all right. So long story
Very
short,
quick.
you fought through folks. You interrogated someone. Gave you a little bit of information, but not much. You can watch the video. And you've snuck up, and you see there's 2 tanks. Neither engine is running. You basically came across these guys. There's a chemical spill. 2 tanks. Neither engine is running. These 2 Germans are on top of their tanks eating breakfast. The guy that glass just smoked just got done taking his last piss onto a morning fire, and now it's your turn in this ambush.
All right,
What did happen is Morrison misinterpreted some field signals and was told to not shoot the blue stuff on the truck, and he raised his thumb thinking in his head, shoot the blue stuff in the truck.
Okay.
And so he shot it, and this blue stuff is oozing out of it onto the ground. It's not liquid, it's not gas, it just looks creepy as shit.
You okay? Well, I will run over this way. Sprint this way.
Yeah, you can get a shot on this guy.
And yeah, I'll shoot him. Why not? So he hustles up and then drops to a knee and tries to shoot the guy on top of the tank.
All right, roll your damage. Oh.
Ow, son. That fucking weapon.
So Carbone goes up there, and as fire, basically, this is all happening simultaneously. All this stuff happens. This guy has his schnitzel halfway to his mouth, and suddenly just takes a gut shot. Bam! And he's on the top of his tank, and there's just blood spreading beneath him. He's like, ah!
Blood on the schnitzel.
Bitte, no! All right, is anybody not gone yet?
For France.
Lieutenant Sutton.
Sutton has his rifle to his ear. He follows Carbone. Bitter, no. Yes, from America. And he fires at that same guy.
No, the guy with the gut shot didn't die after 12.
He has 2 left. Yeah, he's dead.
Ooh. God damn.
Pinged him.
Ping.
He's gone. Is that everybody?
Yeah, that's everybody.
Let me just do this here. This oil spill, I'll put that to the back. So it's everybody. Okay. So we're going to do the thing. So everybody click add. Can you guys do add turn to your own tokens or not?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
But what we could do is just I'll make a macro for it for the next time we play, but it'll basically just instantly add it to the tracker.
Oh, we only actually have 2 guys left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So both of them are 14. All right. I'll start adding you guys.
Can't
So
remember if I know German or not.
Glass,
I do know a little German.
Carbone, Sutton, Kelly.
Typical American. I can't speak shit outside of American.
You mean English?
All right. Hey, Glass, what's
No,
yours?
it's American.
15.
These guys are gonna be toast.
Also, Rob, you can aim.
Hey, Carbone, what's your dex?
15.
Sutton 16. Kelly?
Mine is also 50.
Kelly is 18.
And Morrison?
15.
Oh, Kelly's 18?
Yep.
You're a fucking ninja.
You're damn right he's a ninja.
The painted face. All right. Bitte, Achtung, Achtung.
Bless you.
All right. So Kelly, ahead of you, you see the tank. You see this guy just get demolished on the top of this tank as Carbone and Sutton finish him off. You have the guy you just pinged. You have this blue stuff spreading, and like from the far side of the camp, you see Glass just emerge from the woods and almost point blank tank his tops and just.
Okay, Kelly's gonna
Swiss
try and
cheesed him.
finish off the guy he's already pinged.
All right.
Got him.
Roll damage. Oh, I think it's enough. It is. Ah!
Just as he's sliding off, you just fucking like dome him.
He kind of is knocked backwards against the tread of the tank.
Yeah, I think Glass is cussing up a fucking storm as he's like running over to the truck, staying out of the fog, gas like thing, and jumping into this tank as fast as he possibly can.
And Lieutenant Sutton's just going to delay his action, let you guys go first. So Glass sprints across, takes his quote unquote 2 maneuvers to get on that tank. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean he's
And
going
then-
over to the latch.
And then Morrison. Morrison has a bead on this guy, the last guy standing.
Well, I don't know. I don't speak a damn word of German, so I'm assuming that he's shouting curse words or something at us. So I'm just like, Achtung to you too, Jerry.
Single shot or burst? And I'm
gonna burst the shit out of him.
Now it's going to be -5% for each instead of +5. I like that rule.
Yep.
When there's a single person?
No, just in general for adding more shots.
Oh, I see.
It just makes more sense. Otherwise, you just.
I wonder if that's a typo.
You never fire off burst, and you always get positives for firing off burst. Now, I can imagine that working for something like an SMG, right? I don't see it working for a machine gun or like a fully auto rifle.
So how do I roll damage then?
So
Did you do burst or not?
Burst, yes.
So if you did 5 rounds, you'd actually would miss.
Yeah, you would miss.
I would miss.
Yeah, because you'd be -25
Are you saying
to 75.
statistically missing? Then I would never. Then I never do that because I statistically can never hit him.
What do you mean? What?
You roll low.
Your value is 25. Your skill is
even if it's
25.
-5, I'll hit him. My skill is 75.
Yes, your skill is 75.
but
Minus
if you-
25.
Yeah.
Minus 25 is like 50 total skill. Why would you never do that? That's 50% of the time you're gonna hit.
Okay, I'm misunderstanding this greatly then, because I thought it was just -5 off my total roll.
No, so you can
minus
pick.
25. There's no point.
There is a big point because still 50% of the time you would hit them, and then when you hit them, you get to roll a d5 to figure how many times you hit them.
Yeah, so
Does that make sense?
you're
You trade
a
off.
single shot. Then,
trade off 2 hit.
That
Your 2 hit
damage.
percents get traded off.
Well, then why do you have a machine gun if you're not gonna go full auto every time?
because there's only one guy, there's no point to go full auto. If there were 5 guys, yes. If there's one guy, no. I'll pick my shot and take my time.
All right.
Whatever.
So this time you don't fire a huge burst. You just kind of, pull the trigger as quick as you can. So here's the thing too, is when I say 5, in the game you can shoot as many as you want, but just for simplicity's sake, 5 means like you're on the trigger the whole time, right? If you do like 2,
Okay.
that would be almost like a quick burst of your machine gun.
Okay, let's say it's a 3-round burst then.
Okay, so then you hit.
That'd be 15. I would still hit.
Right. Somebody's chuckling, but I'm a generous GM, and we're going to continue. All right, so
Roll a d3.
So yeah, roll a d3, and I'll see how many times you hit.
So
Dude's
I'll
dead.
hit.
We'll move on.
He's dead. So this guy sinks into the blue fog and is presumably dead. All right.
So it's like a fog. It's like blue mist type of thing.
You've never seen anything like it in the 1940s. It's
sure.
It's like
weird.
it's super glowy and like it's low to the ground and
not normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like Glass is like probably the most intelligent, and he's like, it's not radioactive. It's not like anything he's seen. He did a roll earlier to like know that it's bad shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Glass is going to a fucking tank right now. Well, barring the fact that it's a fucking tank.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what it looked like. That's all.
Yeah, Morrison looks around. It's like, why the hell would he have had to shoot at this? This makes no sense.
Like Glass is messing with the lid of this tank, and he's like, "I didn't tell you to fucking shoot at you, fucking fat pig." And he's like prying open the lid of.
Brown's a fat one.
Anybody in the tank?
No, it's empty.
Good, because they were about to get Thompsoned.
I just drop in a grenade and slam the lid.
I gotta use the tank afterwards.
I don't want to have to clean up fucking
All
spaghetti.
right.
This is 1942 technology. That's a Panzer V or 4. It's going to survive it.
So, continuing on, there's a screen wipe. And now you find the scene cut. This is like a little bit back in time, right? To the interior of one of the tents. There, a black-clad SS officer lords over his captive. The prisoner is bound at the wrists, or pretends to be. As he hears gunshots outside, he looks up to his captor. You'll never get what you're after, SS scum. You're meddling in powers that are beyond you, and you'll never understand. It's likely all of us are already in its grasp. The prisoner smiles, blood running from the corner of his mouth. We're all dead. We just don't know it yet. That is nonsense! The SS officer sneers, striking the prisoner again across the face with the back of his hand. I ask you again, why are you here? I'm here at the behest of the greatest nation to ever grace the face of this planet, the United States of America.
America.
Suddenly, the captive frees himself. He rolls to his right, grasping an old military saber and watching his captive's eyes go wide. Quicker than a viper, the captive is on his knees, then his feet, driving the blade into the German officer's gut. He backs away, watching as the SS officer dies, falling to his ground, his mouth agape.
Didn't I shoot this tent?
It's the other one. That's why they're two.
This was before, anyway, right?
Yeah. And those
Oh my
artifacts belong in a museum.
Oh my god.
Yes, we just saved Indiana Jones.
He steps out into the morning sunshine. Nice of you guys to stop by, but I fear it's already too late.
Who let this queer out of the fucking box? Morrison, this is on your ass.
On my ass, you're the one who told me to shoot up that goddamn truck, you jackass.
So this captive looks to his right. He's like, what? You shot it? Are you serious? You shot it.
He shot it. I told him not to. As like I'm hopping into the tank and like getting into controls of it and cutting on the engine, basically looking at the owner's operation manual.
About 45 minutes before you actually get it moving, but yeah.
So he starts to survey the situation, and it's like, who'd they send to rescue me? The Marx Brothers?
Well, right now he's Gigantor, so
So, does anybody have any occult knowledge or anything like?
oh
anything
god,
like
no.
Yeah, I
Like,
do. You told me to take a little bit.
A little bit.
that? Okay.
Hold on,
So
I
why don't
have-
you roll your occult?
Let me find it here.
I didn't know it was on the option table, right? Like, I'm a man of science, so
Yeah, for Carbone, I think we made, since he's kind of a little bit different than.
I took a tiny bit through basically religious upbringing.
Yeah, whoever has any, can roll.
I'm looking for it. I don't know where it is on the sheet, so bear with me. Maybe I don't have it. I don't know. Rich. Where is it on the sheet, guys? Help me out.
Well,
I think-
in the knowledge
Oh,
column,
I got it.
there's
I got it.
Cthulhu mythos.
I got occult sciences.
why in the hell would Morrison know about this though?
Like I said, Christian upbringing and basically saying everything's of the devil, and the many reasons why things are the devil.
I guess it just defaults to 5 because I apparently have a 5%.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah. So for Morrison, it might just be like, yeah, this is all fake stuff. Like the church taught him this is all not real, But now he sees this. So as he gets closer, he sees this blue stuff, and he can see inside this truck, and there are like several statues and artifacts, and he realizes that there's this myth about ancient Atlantis and certain certain myths about that. So he has some idea that Atlantis is involved, and this is some sort of technology that the Germans are probably after. So, what would you say to the group after you blew up this truck?
We didn't blow it up. He just
Damaged it and leaked all
Why?
this
I
shit out.
perforated it.
Like, you
Are
might
they
know
in
that, like-
individual canisters, or is it just like one canister that's leaking, or is it a bunch of canisters that are leaking? Or...
No, there's a bunch of canisters, or a bunch of like crates and stuff too. I can't obviously do it justice on the map, but yeah. But even all the artifacts are glowing with this kind of blue light.
Yeah, Morrison kind of rolls up. He's like, my grandpappy used to tell me a bunch of bullshit myths. You know, I thought it was all shit to scare me. I mean, you know, Jesus is, you know, going to save us all, and you know, this is all bullshit. And I remember reading some of this from comics, even. I think that's supposedly Atlantis, but I think the Germans just made this shit up. I
think
this is
Glass
all
just like
sci-fi.
opens up the lid of the tank, and he's listening to you talk. He's like, "What in the fuck are you talking about?"
So the deer would like be like covering his mouth, like he's like basically covering his nose, thinking it's like something like mustard gas or something like that, and he's like he was moving away.
Yeah, no, Morrison kind of draws up this really, really crude kind of comic kind of thing of showing, you know, the idea of Atlantis and how it sunk into the sea kind of thing, and how its technology is supposed to be unsurpassed, and for some reason it's a failed country.
Yeah, no. Glass just turns on the engine of this thing, and as it's like warming up, he goes over to the truck. Is this fog getting thicker? Is it moving? Is shit happening?
It's pretty much slowed up and stopped at this point.
Yeah, I think Glass is just gonna like hop into this truck and put it in reverse and like back it out of the way and bring it over to the dude.
Over like here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As long as it's not spreading more blue shit.
Out of character, Bo, was I roughly accurate in the way how I was trying to depict it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically what I know of Atlantis.
Yeah. Well, Indy's going to tell you a little bit more.
Well, you know, he's Indiana Jones. I'm just, you know, Sergeant Morrison.
Yeah. So Sutton comes up and says, "So you're here. You're who we were after." He's like, "Yeah." He says, "I can tell from your eyes you're a little let down. College professor out here on his own." And then he looks over to Morrison and he says, "So you recognize this stuff?"
As old rumors that I've long since basically acknowledged as fake. I mean, you know, this is the kind of thing that you would read in old serial novels. This isn't actual stuff. I don't even quite believe it, and I'm looking at it.
And he, Indy, or the captive, you don't know, his name or whatever. He says, "You're right." He says, "I don't even know what's going to happen." He says, "But you're right. You've heard the stories about the Hyperboreans. It's a variant of the Atlantis myth. So there's a bit of truth in all these stories that are passed down from generation to generation."
Glass like stands up on the side thing and he's like, "Sir, what in the fuck is he talking about?" And he's talking to the LT.
And he says, he's talking about the reason we're here. He says, "I was even kept in the dark about this part. I thought we were here to just rescue some college professor who was after..."
This sounds like a bunch of
technology.
mumbo jumbo bullshit.
Yeah, Morrison kind of holds up a hand. He's like, "What's your name there, stranger?"
So Andy goes, "The darkness, the light, it's true. All of it." So,
God damn it. I'm in a fucking foreign country with a bunch of goddamn bonkers assholes. And like he like slams it in park and then just gets out of the truck and like starts walking around and doing useful shit as everybody's like gawking at this shit.
So
So, does he actually ever provide his name?
Yeah. He says his name is Dr. Jones. He says he's been he's been in Paris for a while. He's been kind of behind the lines since the occupation. He's been working on this stuff. He says he tells you about this lady named Mina Wolf. He says her Nachtwolf lackeys have been collecting this stuff for years. Artifacts, crystals, all of them blue. He says, I don't know what to make of it now, but he kind of looks to the side a little bit and pushes around the embers of the fire with his boot. And he says, I met Mina one time in a dive bar in Sumatra. Don't ask, but she talks in her sleep. And that woman will stop at nothing to discover the ancient secrets of some legendary master race and give it technology to the Führer.
Morrison just kind of cocks his 30 counts like, do they bleed? Because I'm pretty sure this will make him otherwise.
Carbone still believes this is mustard gas, and he's just like covering his face with his shirt, and he starts speaking like muffled, and he's like, you should get away from there.
And as soon as Carbone says that, suddenly as you are talking, the air seems to shimmer around you. One of your comrades, perhaps just getting ready to light a cigarette, senses a presence behind him. He turns around, his fag dangling on his lower lip. What the fuck? Just as his exclamation escapes his throat, a creature appears, all dangling flesh and mouths. It lumbers forth, latching onto your ally. He screams a blood-curdling scream, and amidst the guttural growling and crying, both figures shimmer again and then disappear from this plane of his existence forever. Now, on all sides of the camp, more of these creatures appear, seemingly out of thin air. Your captive looks at the whip in his right hand. I don't think this will be of help. Blast him!
No, there goes Bruno.
And why I started up the fucking tank. Is there a shell on the cannon? Is there a shell on the cannon?
I don't know. Are you lucky? Roll some luck.
Are you feeling lucky, punk? And I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling 2 degrees, technically, lucky.
Yeah, there's a shell in that tank.
Yeah. So, like,
let's roll
class,
for initiative, or I guess you don't have to roll in this system, but
yeah, like I think we need to roll like a sanity roll, all of us actually, because these are extra dimensional beings.
I did have that written down. Let me see. Let me pull these guys out.
I'm sorry, guys. This tank blows everyone up.
Yep. Everybody do sanity.
Error.
Just roll D100 and tell me if you pass or fail.
You gotta put your actual number in your sanity filter, or else it's gonna come up as error. They'll say initial sanity. Whew. Holy shit, I just barely make it.
Fail.
So Didier, you roll a D6. Everybody else, you still lose 2.
Nice. What if you roll a 1?
That fucking sucks.
It's war-hardened Frenchies freaked out by the ghouls.
So I lose 5?
Yeah, 5 sanity.
Okay.
So does special success do anything in a sanity roll?
Earlier, I had you recover a sanity, so why don't you just give yourself a point?
Okay.
Instead of taking sanity die, you just give yourself a point. Which is weird, given the situation.
It's weird, but maybe you find some spark of bravery within you. I don't think there are rules about that, so I'll have to look into it.
I'm the one who actually succeeded on the knowledge roll of all this shit, and I'm the one who freaks out and loses 2 sanity.
Well,
That's because you know what's going on.
The way it works is a lot of these, even if you succeed, you still lose a small number. But then if you fail, you have to break a roll.
Is it possible to recover it?
Yeah,
I mean, I've recovered one.
after sessions, you can give like a couple back or something.
Well, I need more than that.
This is Call of Cthulhu, man. Going crazy is the name of the game.
Yeah,
like-
like everybody.
That's why I have a higher sanity than everybody else.
So,
I'm the one who came in slightly prepared for this shit.
all right. So,
I love the 80s sci-fi music in the 1940s section, or setting, rather.
eh.
No, I mean, I literally love it.
It's supposed to be Call of Cthulhu-y, so. Oh my
These
god.
guys have shit decks. So thematically speaking, guys, all of your other squad is kind of fighting off these guys too. So you just have to deal with these three of them, if that makes any sense. So.
Yeah.
So who actually died? Because we need to keep track of that.
Yeah, we do.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're supposed to roll a table again.
1 out of 9.
I think it's 1 out of.
Well, 1
Hey,
out of
let me
8
see.
minus.
Yeah. Why doesn't somebody roll a 1d8?
I'll do it.
I already typed the formula in. 3. Tim Rayburn.
Tim Rayburn. Was that the guy who was giving? He was giving
Football
somebody shit
captain
about
from
something.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Gets fucking chomped.
Tim Rayburn. So he's the guy that was about ready to light a cigarette and just gets grabbed and dragged into another dimension.
Does it just like disappear? What happens to him?
Yeah, just the air kind of shimmers around him and they just like gone. This is why.
Nope.
This is why you guys are like, no. All right.
I
I
asked
don't think it's
specifically.
appropriate that says he's dead in another dimension. He's gone in another dimension.
He's gone in another dimension. You don't know. He might be like in the worst dimension ever.
What the
All
fuck?
right.
Where did Tim go? What the fuck? What the fuck? All you hear from Glass's direction is just like him jump into the tank and the lid drop, and then like the turret turn in a direction.
Trying to find Carbone.
Boris
All
looks
right.
over to Brown. He's like, "That thing's not even supposed to move."
Carbone,
Without the engine
what's your
turned on.
dex?
15.
14,
15.
and Morrison.
15.
You guys are all going to get to go before these guys.
You can turn
So,
turrets
okay,
with
when we're
my
tied-
hand, by the way.
Kelly's like
Maybe
18, right?
Maybe if we're tied with rank, then
Kelly
or
is
tied, we
18.
go within the rank of the character.
Glass, what are you, 16?
By rules, we need to roll a d100, and whoever has the lowest. If you really want to waste time and do that, sure. I don't particularly care.
You're all PCs. You're probably all going to be able to go before these guys because their dex is 10. So what's Glasses? Is it 15?
Yep.
Your character's 30. I think he should just be happy he's moving at all. Got Harrison Jones here. You better have like a dex of 1,000.
All right. So Kelly first.
All right. Kelly will fire at the one in the clearing here.
Nice.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Wings it.
Three. I think they have some armor. Let me look here.
We all technically have armor as well.
Yeah. You guys didn't really get hit bad. That's usually
Didn't give him a
easy on
chance.
you. 8.
I really wouldn't want to be.
I know you have armor. I
Either.
feel like it was 3, but.
They're fucking unnatural beings. They better have armor. I'd be upset.
Yeah, let's look it up. It's not gonna take long. It's
So, Rob, what do you do to cause only 3 damage? Do you just bring your rifle up too quickly? Like, what happens?
Just must have just winged him.
Well, this guy isn't gonna just get winged.
This guy right here. I'm gonna blow up the other tank in the process.
come on. where's
If
this
it's
guy?
not a direct hit, it's most likely not even gonna penetrate if these are Mark IVs. Because their guns were fucking
Yeah, most
garbage.
likely.
Fucking garbage.
Ah, man,
In this timeline, they most likely be Panzer IVs.
Aiming. Bracing or using instruments to aim once in a round at half dex. This effect is to double the point blank and based ranges. Okay.
oh my god, I look this guy up so often.
Just call it something.
Deities of the Mythos. I think it was like 3 or 4. I'm looking at these guys.
What are they?
They're dimensional shamblers. If you guys can find them.
I'm not particularly worried about it.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Let's just call it 3. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we've been doing combat wrong.
How's that?
That's okay.
Also,
Unaimed shots to 1/5 of the normal chance.
I don't think you have to like take a full maneuver to aim. Like if you attack, it's like an aim, isn't it?
Bracing or using instruments to aim allows the shooter to fire once in a round at half dex. The effect is to double the range and all that other stuff. You basically have to spend a movement action to aim, otherwise you get the unaimed penalty. So if you were to move and a shoot, right, then you would get the unaimed penalty of 1/5 of your effective score.
Make for a lot more misses.
Oh yeah,
Might make combat drag out forever.
that's true. Anyway.
So let's say, okay, 3, you didn't get past his armor. It just shrugs this one off. All right, glass is up.
Well, I mean, it's 3 of us, so I don't care who goes first.
Good.
Glass is just gonna pop up from his little commander's turret and is this range accurate?
Yep.
So that's within my point blank, and Glass is going to full auto. So it's going to be 45, but that also goes back up to 90. Because you double.
All right.
Which you should have probably done as well. Rob, oh, no, you don't have a full auto gun, I don't think.
No, the Delisle single shot. Oh, bolt action.
Ooh, a special. It's
Man.
not a impalement, I don't think. I don't think that's impalement.
It is.
No, it is.
It
It is, yeah. Yeah, well, let me do...
Oh.
how do you have a 90 on your submachine gun? I thought it was maxed out at 75.
Okay, so I'll do this again, math-wise. 70 base. Minus 25. You following me?
Yeah.
Plus 10. Double it.
Because of the range. And point blank.
And automatic. Go look at the rules and the handouts in combat
No,
cheat sheet.
I'm new to this system. That's the only reason I'm mad.
Oh no, I'm just reading point blank, like the point blank and the firearm actions. If the distance to the target is equal to or less than the shooter's dex, the shooter's chance to hit is doubled. Either way,
Either way, roll your damage. D5. See how many you hit. Oh, might get this one. Yeah, he's dead.
yeah, I think the whole time Glass, as he like jumps into the tank and is like, "What the fuck?" Jumping back as these things appear, he just like points his weapon haphazardly at this thing and like kind of like is like, "What the fuck is that?" And just lets rip of a whole like burst basically.
So this thing turns towards you and starts to shamble towards you, and just like, and it's like, and just it falls backwards onto its back, and just like the other one disappeared, this one just kind of shimmers in the air, and then nothing's there.
Welcome to automatic weapons.
Next player.
All right, so do I have to worry about shooting over my own allies?
I would say if they were in melee, there would be some type of penalty, but
So
Yeah,
I
I
can
think-
shoot through them and not
if you
have any-
if you critically fail, you might shoot Didrir or any of the guys right here.
'cause I only have, really technically speaking, clear sight of one enemy because the other one's through a bush and in a tent.
You could always move too.
With a deployable weapon that takes forever.
You could just use your pistol.
I'd rather take
What's your
the
range? What's your range?
negative. 15, I think it says. I don't. It's a machine gun. I don't.
Pistol
think
would
that's
be
right.
15. Your machine gun would go upwards to almost a mile.
Yeah, your machine
Yeah,
gun like
it
has
should
a
be
huge
a lot
range.
further. I think the sheet's telling me wrong because I'm looking at the sheet right now. It's telling me
It wouldn't be
the,
on your sheet.
range is 15. Oh, maybe it's 150. I think that's what's wrong.
Well, either way, that doesn't apply to point blank. It's your dex that applies to your point blank.
Yeah, you just shoot him with a machine gun.
Well, he's still not within my dex. None of them are within my dex.
Are you gonna do multiple shots or just one?
Because of the nature of how freakish these things are, it's going to be full auto. Simply
All right.
because it's like kill it with fire. I saw one with bleed, so this one's got.
What's your base? Your base skill 75,
Yeah, I'm gonna roll.
50,
70, 50, and then unit. Yeah, it'd be 50. So just roll D100.
Yeah, I have to roll 50. No, I've got it all figured out. Yep, I hit.
Well, don't do it in the macro unless you specifically edit your macro, because it's gonna fuck up otherwise and give you specials when you don't have specials.
But
At
yeah,
any rate, I still hit.
yeah, you hit. So roll D5.
5. He gets 5.
Oh
shots.
man, he's gonna go down too.
God damn.
1 second. And he's just like, the power of Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you.
Fucking stupid Christians.
Well, you know, he doesn't know any better. This is 1944, or 42, rather, excuse me.
Same thing happens. This one is it's hit all around you. You see your squad mates kind of in combat with these guys as well. And now Carbone's up.
Can I see this one in the middle?
You hear like something inside the tent. This is the tent that earlier he put a bunch of shots into, but you hear like a rustling around inside this tent. So yeah.
So if I move and then attack,
You'd be firing at effectively half your skill, but that's technically if you.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing it the way we've been doing it this session. We can change it.
Yeah.
Later. But yeah, you can move up to here and shoot into the tent or something like that.
yeah. So Carbone is freaked out, and so he starts to run in this direction to kind of get away. And then as he's running this way, he sees what's in the tent, and he like spins and excitedly kind of fumbles at something on his belt, and he pulls a potato masher
Oh God.
off, and I guess he has to pull the string on the bottom, right?
I know somebody's going to do Sutton
And
right there.
I'm just gonna whip it in there. He just like very, very like freaked out, just flings the potato masher inside the tent.
That's an accurate response if I ever did hear one.
Go for it, man.
Basically, he didn't see anybody else. So he's within my 8. So is that point blank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well within your point blank. So you would. I did it wrong at the beginning, so you have to double your effective skill at start.
So that's
And then
130.
130, and then you also make your base skill and your actual like throwing it make it 130. Otherwise, it's gonna fuck up, right? And then you have to take in a fact for the negative, which I don't think there is one for you, because you're not full autoing, you're just throwing, right?
Yeah,
It's
throwing.
not negative.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, there's not a negative. It's you're literally going to well,
Oh
unless
my
you're fucking
God.
99.
Oh my God, you're lucky you did that.
I still think that technically malfunctions. What's a potato masher malfunction on?
Well, what if he rolled? Yeah, because he couldn't roll over 100.
That's funny. He threw a dead potato masher. That's actually pretty accurate for fucking French free fighters. Like it goes in
our
there,
equipment
hits him in
is
the
shit.
face.
Yeah.
Like hits him in the face.
Yeah,
Doesn't do anything.
It has to be
Doesn't go off.
99 is the worst. I mean, everything has 99. So he just throws it in there, and everybody like Lieutenant, the LT, everybody else is running for it. And they're like, hit the deck, and everybody dives, and they're covering their heads, and then you just hear this. And then this guy goes out towards Carbone.
I guess you could say he's carboned.
He got Carbone. So, let's see here. Let's see if he gets you.
I have 2 armor from my M26 Adrian's helmet.
Ah,
God, they only have like 30 skill. What the fuck?
yeah, I took it easy.
I parry it.
All right,
You
back to
actually-
the top.
He's attacking you with the same potato masher.
No, does he swing at me with his arms? Is that what he does? Like trying to
Yeah,
grab
it's
me?
his claws.
So as he tries to grab me,
He's trying to grab you. And
yeah,
in
Carbone
that.
like stumbles back and falls like out of the way, and it just kind of whiffs as Carbone falls prone, kind of like looking up underneath it.
He's like, shit. He lucked out. So top of the order. So how many squads are we down to? 7 guys?
Uh-huh.
All right. Somebody's getting picked off by another one of these NPCs that are thematically around. All right.
Oh,
Was
it
somebody
can't be
roll one?
Jack, so it's already a 1d6. Like Jack's
Just
got
roll 1d7.
Never mind.
3. He's already dead.
No. You would just count that out, so it'd be 1, 2. That would technically be Jack, but he can't die. So
No, he can. Jack can die.
no,
He can
Jack
die.
Landing. Jack Landing.
So-
Then
So one of these guys gets Jack in a death grip and starts clawing at him. He's like, it's tearing out my groin. And blood's everywhere. And then you see Jack and this thing just kind of dissipate into the air, and they disappear.
Do we need to roll another sanity to watch our friend get killed?
I would say so, but
Yes, do it. He's a
we're losing
special
a lot
friend.
of we're losing a lot of sanity.
Well, I'm
for
just
fucking-
saying that, we're watching our friends get killed by Cthulhu monstrosities.
We're losing a lot of sanity for this early on in the game. Holy shit!
I'm 70 something and I'm like panicking already.
All right.
Thank God.
So even if you succeed, you lose 2.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Oh, stop
No
bitching.
sanity.
To be consistent, Kelly gets 1. Morrison loses 2.
I lose 5.
Rivers loses 5. Didier loses 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're back at the top.
This leads to the invention of the Cthulhian Cup. Never
All
again
right.
will your balls be shredded by a monster.
Fucking get him, Kelly, get him.
Don't roll a 1 on your damage, at least.
Kelly kind of rolls up to one knee, levels his carbine at the monster, yells at Carbone, "Hey, Fritchie, quit playing grab ass with that thing!"
Let him have it.
Rifle.
What's your
that
dexterity?
misses.
What's your dexterity?
Dex is 18.
Oh.
You double your skill, Rob, and because you're firing with one weapon,
150. It's 86.
yeah, you 86.
Yeah.
You fucking murder this thing. Like that's almost to your impalement, I think.
I don't think it's quite there.
It is a special, I believe, though. Or just below it, or just above it. I mean, it's still 9 damage. Holy shit!
9 minus 3 is 6. So you knock. I'm gonna have him. He kind of gets knocked to the side. You shoot him in the left side of the head. He stumbles over this fire. Sparks fly up at his feet. Glass or Morrison?
Whatever, Jam. I mean, I'd say you couldn't really shoot through all that shit, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
you
about
probably
to say, I can't see shit at the moment.
fucking grenade right there. Frag fucking out, my dude.
Yeah, this little wagon is not supposed to be there.
Like frag out, my dude. Throwing would be 40, that'd be 80.
That's in your dex, isn't it?
Yeah, it's within my dex. 14.9 to throw it at that spot. I'm shooting for below 80. Fucking frag out, my dude.
Frag out.
I couldn't find fragmentation grenade damage, so whatever. You just want to roll your potato masher grenade
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Oh, you're gonna like it.
I have it here. Let's see.
What the fuck?
Holy shit.
Holy shit. And how far does that...
Here's grenades and explosive right here.
What page?
And that's with 3 ones.
Huh? I don't see it. Rifle, grenade.
It would be throw. Is
Yeah,
its
something
base skill.
Great threaten. Pineapple grenade throw 46.
Okay, give me a second.
But it's 4 yards. You're gonna hit Carbone.
It should do diminishing damage, right? Because if it's gonna hit Carbone, I'm not gonna do it, right?
It says feet, but it's supposed to be yards.
Yeah, but he was gonna throw it over here, right? So what's there to here? 8 feet.
I guess you could do that.
I mean, Carbone's not gonna feel well at all, but
Yeah,
he's on the ground too.
We'll just RP it. This is the last one. You can patch him up after the fact.
Fucking eardrums ruptured. It's not like a massive explosive. Oh, here's the question. What does the actual explosion do in the blue shit?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, if you go by like diminishing per foot, like 2 or 3 damage. So that's like 14 damage, right? Carbone would take like 4 damage. So you take like 1 damage. Or 2.
Yeah, Sutton and Carbone both take like 2 damage. We'll say Carbone and Sutton, they're both knocked prone. They take 2 damage. And this guy is already wounded, so he's gone.
Fucking vaporized.
And Carbone
So now,
was
like-
kind of looking up with his hands up, like afraid this thing is gonna fall back on him, and then the
Fucking
red hot explosives just blow over top of him, and the thing just disintegrates before him.
You guys look around the rest of your squad. You see Daryl King like backpedaling with one of those shamblers, and just like pop, 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 pop. Puts a couple rounds in his head. He's like, "Yeah, you stay down." And there's old Bruno Cannoli. Old Bruno Cannoli is like back in the woods, like he's fighting with one of these guys, and like gets his rifle up into the chest, pulls the trigger, and blows him up. Daryl's like, "Cannoli, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm still alive." And
what
then
in the fucking hell was that?
Sutton's like, "Is everybody okay?" He kind of gets up from the ground.
Yeah, Morrison looks over to Brown. He's like, "Why the fuck would they have us shoot at those goddamn barrels? That made no sense. That only made things worse."
I said not to fucking shoot at the barrels, you jackass.
He points to Brown and he's like, "Brown's the one who confirmed the damn orders."
Put a boot in fucking Brown's ass, god damn it.
Morrison just kind of smacks him upside the head in, comically style.
But yeah, like Glass is probably freaking inside of his tank. Like after he says that, he just like slumps down into the tank and just like holds his head. He just lost like fucking 8 sanity in this one fight. That's fucking massive.
Yeah, Carbone kind of
I've
like
lost 6 sanity.
turns over and kneels, and his helmet kind of falls off his head, and he like gets to his feet and kind of grabs it and stumbles over and like knocks up against the truck here and opens the door and climbs inside.
Kelly's looking at the spot where the one that was there to the west of him disappeared, looking for any sort of sign of what happened to it. Sort of not acknowledging that it just disappeared.
Yeah, he doesn't see anything.
Orson just starts packing up his machine gun. He's like, "Dear Mom, I shot Nazis. The end." And he's just shaking his head at the end of it.
And Jones is kind of walking around, bends over, kind of brushes the grass with his hands and runs it between his fingers where these things seem to have disappeared. And he says, "You're going to shoot more than Nazis before the end of this. This is an enemy like you've never seen." But he looks up and he looks at the 2 tanks. He says, "But I've got a plan, and Mina's not going to know what's coming for her."
Oh, I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Why does it look like mine's covered in blood? I don't like this.
I think the selection took your face away.
I don't like this, guys. It looks like my face is bled. Why am I bleeding out my eyeballs?
It's like, if you look at this picture, you're like, which guy's gonna get shot? Oh, the guy on the right.
Oh, Rob. Bo.
Yeah.
Right-click the thing, go to advanced, and then flip it horizontally. Have him face the other direction.
Somebody clicked it.
Jam probably moved it. Have it face the other direction. And be
I know
on...
you did. I made it that direction on purpose.
Yeah, you can use that French spider for me. That's fine too for next time or whatever.
Yeah, I made it that way on purpose.
Well,
Like
all the-
it's supposed to be like a movie poster, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie posters, like they're all kind of like facing the different ways or whatever.
I think you should have like the background.
Where's the French flag?
I tried to actually put it on there. It looks
Really?
stupid though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually did it. It clashed. It clashed with the stripes and
Oh
stars.
yeah, I'm sure it did. Yeah.
I wonder why my face is so cut out from the rest of the image.
It's just because of the way that GIMP did. Like,
He probably did fuzzy select or something.
yeah,
to take
I
your
did
face.
fuzzy select. Yeah.